pulled off the first Houston without giving up a single run. You're going up against one of the best lefties in the league in Framber Valdez. But no, they put up a 6-piece in the first inning. A wild first inning it was, and then they obviously led the entire way. Charlie Morton, another pretty good outing, back-to-back for him in a Tiger uniform. And we got to give more praise to this bullpen, man. The Tigers' bullpen has not given up an earned run since August 12th. That's over a week ago. We know how good the combination of Vest and Finnegan has been. Troy Melton has been such a good middle guy ever since he's taken on that new role with Detroit. And it's starting to lean into the possibility that this is not the biggest weakness of this team. And when you're having a difficult time picking out the biggest weakness of a team, that's a major plus. There's nothing that sticks out right now with this current version of the Tigers in August that you're super worried about. Yeah, there's some things that you think they can touch up and fix, but right now, this Tigers team looks like a World Series team. You swept a first-place team in the Houston Astros of the AL West, and right now the Tigers look like the team to beat in the American League. Got to keep it rolling, though, throughout the rest of August before they face a couple playoff teams in September. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
Get ready, Michigan. Field of Frames Fest presented by Dow is taking over Dow Diamond September 26th through 28th. It's the ultimate celebration of gaming, esports, and community, bringing together fans, families, players, and industry pros for a 3-day festival like no other. Watch elite teams battle in high-stakes competition, the Valorant Collegiate Invitational and Rocket League Semi-Pro Showdown, each with $10,000 prize pools, a $5,000 Super Smash Bros. Open Tournament, and a 17U Fortnite Youth Tournament with $1,000 up for grabs. There's live music, entertainment, and activities for all ages, plus educational panels and hands-on workshops for those interested in tech, business, and gaming industries. Tickets start at just $25, and kids 10 and under get in free. Don't miss your chance to be part of a landmark event. Visit fieldofframesfest.com to grab your tickets today. Field of Frames. Experience the element of gaming.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Michigan, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that.
Hello. Good morning. Welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show, live on a Thursday here in the Great Lakes Bay region, live on YouTube and Facebook as well. Got a good show coming up today. In the 11 o'clock hour, we will be joined by Chris Castellani. In the 10 o'clock hour, we will give you the hacks that you need to know for this new ESPN deal, this new ESPN streaming service, this new era of your sports content being consumed on the streaming side of things. We're going to give you the hacks to that. But, Kyle, I don't know about you. I don't necessarily have this giant overarching take after yesterday's butt-kicking that the Tigers handed to the Astros. It felt like for a second there was going to be an opportunity to shut out the Astros in all three games. They ended up getting the sweep. They scored 6 runs before the Astros could record one out, and the game was over in the first inning. After the first inning, not a whole lot happened. Look, the Tigers team is hot, one of the hottest teams in baseball. 23 games over 500 right now. It feels like they're getting closer and closer to not clinching the 1 seed, but like they're growing that lead over Toronto right now, who keeps losing. So Tigers are hot is my big arching takeaway from yesterday's game. Am I missing anything here, or can we do something else to open up the show today?
Yeah, Tigers are hot. I really don't disagree. I mean, like you said, they got up to that huge lead and then just led the entire rest of the way. It's fun baseball right now that the Tigers are playing, and it's nice that they're at this point in this late into the season. So yeah, 2
blowout wins, 1-0 win in extra innings in which they didn't even get a hit in extra innings. They just walked the runner in to win the game. So yeah, they sweep the Astros. That was a well-needed win. Felt like that's a turning point. I mean, they were hot before, but it felt like that's a series you can point to and be like, I feel a lot better about them the rest of the way because of this series against the Astros. We'll talk to Chris Castellani about it in the 11 o'clock hour, like I said. But, man, Kyle, yesterday something happened in the NFL, and it just got my gears turning in the brain. You know how we've got this ongoing bit, really this whole course of the offseason, that there is a 2-man race in the NFL, not to see who can win a Super Bowl, but who gets to claim the title of dumbest team. And it's been the Saints, it's been the Browns. It feels like they have been exchanging punches all off-season long, whether it's passing up on Shedeur Sanders being the Saints scenario and having Tyler Shook and whoever being like battling to be their starting quarterback, and then the Browns announced they're going to keep 4 quarterbacks on their roster. Well, the Saints got the upper hand yesterday and did yet another thing that was just so incredibly stupid. And hang with me here. We're going to tie it back to the teams you care about in just a second. Yesterday, the Saints gifted the Broncos a 4th and 7th round pick for Devon Veely. Don't exactly know, but that's kind of the point. I didn't even care to look it up because this was the Broncos wide receiver 3 last season. The Broncos were the 21st team in passing yards per game last season. It wasn't a great passing attack, and the Saints ended up giving 2 picks up to acquire someone like this. Let's remind ourselves, the Saints are in prime position to have the 1st overall pick here. So why they're trading away midday draft capital or mid-pick draft capital makes no sense whatsoever. So they get the upper hand. I think they're in the driver's seat for dumbest team in the NFL. And it got my brain going a little bit. And I started to ask myself, what's the dumbest thing that a Detroit sports GM has done in your lifetime? Because luckily, there's not an idiotic GM running any of the teams right now. Look, I'm not the biggest Eiserman fan. I don't think he's a moron, though. He's just not aggressive. I disagree with Scott Harris's philosophy in a lot of stuff, but he's not a moron. The guy running the Saints, guy running the Browns, these seem to be true idiots that are holding their franchises back in their respective sports. So I want to ask the question to the people, what is the dumbest move that you've seen a Detroit sports GM or president of baseball, basketball operations make in your lifetime? I have 4 candidates for you from me. This is me personally. Al Avila trading Justin Verlander. In return, ready for this, the Tigers got Franklin Perez, who never made it to the majors. Daz Cameron, who is a total bust. And the best prospect they got back in return, not at the time, but 2020 vision, is Jake Rogers, who's still with the Tigers. The second option I have for you, Joe Dumars drafting Darko, number 2 overall, over Carmelo, over Bosch, over Dwayne Wade, 3 future Hall of Famers. Still won a title that year. Number 4, how about Joe Dumars again, trading away Chauncey Billups for Allen Iverson and then asking Allen Iverson to be a pass-first point guard. That was the beginning of the most miserable stretch in Pistons history. And then the final one I have, there's no way I was leaving Matt Millen off this list. I just had him clumping 3 drafts together, drafting any sort of receiver from 2003 to 2005. In 2003, they draft Charles Rogers 2nd overall. He has 440 career yards as a Lion. Andre Johnson went 3rd overall. Tough. Roy Williams in 2004 went 7th overall. Matt Millen picked him up. He's the only one that has eclipsed 1,000 yards. He did it once. He was a Pro Bowler. Okay, fine pick. And then in 2005, Mike Williams, the Lions ended up drafting 10th overall. He has less than 450 career yards as a Lion. DeMarcus Ware, Hall of Fame guy, 4-time first-team All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, he goes 11th. Those would be my candidates for the worst moves and dumbest moves a Detroit GM has made over the past, my lifetime, but I want to hear from you guys too. 989-837-6125. If I have to pick between those four, the Darko one is brutal. But trading away Justin Verlander and getting absolutely nothing back in return other than hope, and that hope ended up being nothing, that probably takes the cake for me. I don't know how you could make an argument that anything else tops this list. It's got to be trading Justin Verlander away for a bag of chips.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you there because to me, I don't necessarily think drafting someone is like the dumbest thing you could do. I know that sounds kind of weird to say, but missing on a draft pick is just like, I don't know, you just missed on a draft pick. Like it happens to everyone. I wouldn't qualify that as being dumb. Now, obviously, revisionist history goes to show, 2003 is probably the best draft class in NBA history, at least at the top. And you had the second pick in there and could have had like a Carmelo Anthony, a Dwayne Wade, a Chris Bosh, like you said. However, they won the championship the same year, so I think that kind of negates it. Like, it's not like they never won a ring. So I think that the Darko one, to me, can't be the worst move. The Matt Millen stuff, for sure, is pretty easy to look at as far as, okay, you can't say a draft pick is bad when you do it multiple years in a row.
Same position.
Right.
Continue to bust.
Then potentially I could see that. I will say, though, like, he did draft a pretty good receiver a couple years after that. So
sure.
Maybe that helps him out. Rest in peace to Charles Rogers, by the way. I think that there's one that you're missing here, and I do think that the Iverson one is pretty good. The Verlander one is probably out of the ones that you said.
Don't tell me the Blake Griffin trade.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I mean, the Blake Griffin trade, like, obviously didn't work out, but, like, I don't know. I kind of think that
I will
Pistons,
defend the Blake Griffin trade.
It gave the Pistons a glimpse of something that they hadn't had in years. He's the best player that I have gotten to watch in a Pistons jersey as far as my prime Pistons watching goes up until now, Cade Cunningham. So it gave them, like, a star. He was an All-NBA player for the first time since the mid-2000s that the Pistons had one.
And they were moving into a new arena. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
They couldn't have gone into that new arena and had Andre Drummond as their face of the franchise still.
Agreed. Once again, I don't think it was a good move. I think that it was probably a poor move, honestly.
It was a business move rather than a basketball move.
Right. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's not it. I think that the Jordan Zimmerman signing in 2016 is potentially the worst free agent move that at least, once again, I'm young. I want people to understand that. That I have, at least in my prime sports years, watched. Because the Jordan Zimmerman signing is legitimately, I mean, he came to the Tigers and was god-awful. 5-year, $110 million. Couple years after you moved off of Scherzer. And the Tigers had gone through a couple years of, maybe this thing is starting to slow down a little bit. In 2015, obviously, with Brad Ausmus, they missed the playoffs. And then they go out and bring in Zimmerman in 2016, and it's just who was 30
at the time.
Right, and obviously comes to the Tigers and just becomes an absolute stinker, and they end up trading Verlander the following season, and things never are the same for the Tigers until present day, honestly. So that one for me, because it scars me. That was the end of the Tigers' run of the early to kind of mid-2010s, where they were really good, and this signing kind of put them in cap hell as far as we're not going to spend any money now because why would we when we give out Jordan Zimmerman this terrible contract?
Jordan Zimmerman in 2017, though, led Major League Baseball in earned runs total. 108 on the season.
Yeah, I was going to say, what did he lead Jordan Zimmerman, or what did he lead in? Yeah, I mean,
earned runs, that would be the answer. Here's what I need from you guys. I need your worst ever move as a Detroit GM sent into 989-837-6125. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just drop it in the chat. I already see a couple of them populating in there. This is inspired by the Saints giving up draft capital last night for a wide receiver 3 in a below-average NFL offense last season. Truly diabolical, because when you are in line to be the worst team this year, you should not be giving up any sort of draft picks before the season starts. So that's what inspired this conversation. I want to hear from you guys. 989-837-6125. Tell me the worst move that a Detroit GM has made in your lifetime. 989-837-6125. A lot of good stuff coming up here on the Ben Bosscher Show today. That's how we're kicking things off. We'll get to the Tigers in a little bit. We'll get to the Lions. We'll give you your hacks for the new era of streaming here in the sports world. You guys can see us right now live on 100.9 The Mitt's YouTube page, and you can see the difference at Midland Eye Care, where your vision is their focus, offering comprehensive eye exams, glasses, contracts, and advanced eye health services. Friendly, knowledgeable staff and a wide selection of stylish frames for every face and budget. locally owned and trusted by familiar faces throughout the Midland area, while offering comprehensive eye care services and in-demand lenses and frames. Whether you're updating your prescription or checking on your eye health, they've got you covered. Book your appointment today and start seeing clearer tomorrow. That is Midland Eye Care. This is The Ben Bosscher Show, live on 100.9 The Mitt, YouTube, and Facebook.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Scarlett Mason from Standish Sterling High School. With a 4.3 GPA, Scarlett's a member of the track and field team and a state champion in swimming. Scarlett, a member of the National Honor Society, and PALS, a student support group.
We get qualified, and then we are someone that if a student is uncomfortable talking to an adult, they can come talk to us about what's going on at home or whatever they're struggling with. The biggest thing was it raised mental health awareness, and I think that's huge in high school.
Scarlett will be attending and swimming at Wayne State in the fall. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themitt.com.
Is your business protected, connected, and running at full speed? At IronStack Technology, they provide rock-solid IT solutions, cybersecurity, and support tailored for small and mid-sized businesses. From managed services to cloud migration and 24/7 monitoring, they've got your back so you can focus on what matters most, growing your business. Visit IronStackTechnology.com today and build your IT on a foundation of strength. IronStack Technology, IT that works as hard as you do.
Midland Eye Care wants you to know, according to a recent study conducted by the AOA, the Optical Laboratories Association, and the Vision Council, nearly half of all glasses ordered online had either prescription errors or failed to meet minimum safety standards. Midland Eye Care offers a full-service optical department meeting all your eye care needs. So call your local Midland Eye Care and avoid incorrect prescriptions costing you time and money. Midland Eye Care, your vision source on Eastman Road in Midland, on Cedar and Gladwin, and on East Washington and Freeland.
Suit up, Sea Captain. At Dive and Glide in Midland, we've got all the gear you need to make a splash. Flippers that fit like a glove, masks that show you the underwater magic, and tanks ready to fuel your next adventure. Whether you're snorkeling the local lakes or dreaming of ocean depths, Dive and Glide has your back and your fins. Find us on Cambridge Street or swim over to diveandglideinc.com. Dive and Glide, making waves one splash at a time so you can dive deeper than ever before.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, 989-837-6125. Let's get to a couple of your texts. We're trying to figure out what the worst move you've ever seen a Detroit GM make is. Jay from the text line says, I agree with you, Ben. Darko is the worst pick ever. I didn't say that, though. I think it's the Verlander thing. I disagree with Kyle saying the 2004 Bad Boys winning the chip regardless of the bad Darko pick, though. If we draft one of those future Hall of Famers, they win at least one more championship. We were kind of talking about this pre-show.
It's just like you can't guarantee it, right? You can't guarantee that they win another. What we can guarantee is they did win a ring after drafting Darko, you know? So it's like, and to
defending the Darko
right,
pick.
and to Jimmy's point, who we were talking about this pre-show, they probably don't trade for Rasheed Wallace if they draft one of Carmelo Anthony or Chris Bosh.
I don't know. I just fundamentally I try
Correct?
not to overthink this. You have
No, you're
Chris
right.
Bosh,
You're right.
you have Carmelo, you have
Yes.
Dwayne Wade. You're probably just a better team in the long run.
It's fair. It's a pretty good point.
Glenn in the YouTube chat says Joey Blue Skies Harrington, dumb draft pick. He was 3rd overall in 2002. It's a tough one.
Yes,
It's a real
I mean,
tough
just
one.
once again, another in that era of tough Lions draft picks.
set up to fail, though, in a way. Like, some of this is quarterback's fault. Some of it's the offensive line fault. First 2 years in the league, led the league in sack percentage, led the league in interceptions his second year. That's a little bit more on him. But yeah, I think I'm with you that it's tough to be a draft pick unless you really passed on someone who was just
and it was like obvious, like the Darko thing, honestly.
Like the Darko thing.
Like, yeah, I just think that it's very easy to miss on draft picks. Like, it just happens to every single, even good GMs it happens to. Is the Jeff Okudah draft pick kind of up there for like the most recent bad move? It's obviously not one of the worst ever, of course not. But like, Lions third overall, they're kind of heading to a rebuild. This is to spark it, and especially with all the other corners that have been picked high in the draft in the last 5 years that have all just been studs right away.
Yeah, that
and then Okudah's not. Man. I mean, it's like there was crazy guys taken after him. Like Andrew Thomas taken right after would have been nice. Justin Herbert, but like I don't think the Lions were drafting a quarterback anyways.
No.
CeeDee Lamb. I mean, like Tristan Wirfs is in
CeeDee
there.
Lamb would have been nice.
Yeah, but these guys didn't go immediately. Like Justin Jefferson, obviously, but these guys weren't in contention to go third overall, you know? So I don't think that one's that bad. It's just would have been nice if Okudah worked out, that's for sure.
But Okudah, like, the problem was always, hey, man, like, he might be 6'1" and has the size, but he's also had Chase Young on his defensive line.
Right.
Like, no one actually knew if he
he couldn't stay healthy either. I mean, that was a big issue for him as well.
There was red flags everywhere with Okudah. Yeah, that's definitely up there in terms of, like, the last 6 years. A lot of people texting in just Darko. Nobody's going to let go of the Darko thing.
I think it's fair. I mean, I get it. I totally understand it.
A lot of people saying trading Chauncey, too. Look, they were going to be bad that year regardless, and I think that was kind of the beginning of the end.
It absolutely was the beginning of the end, yeah.
But, like, regardless of if they did, it just kind of fast-forwarded to this age of darkness that the Pistons were in from 2009 to really 2 years ago.
Right.
A little bit faster and made it a little bit more extreme. Javi Baez contracts being thrown in here.
Ooh, if Javi never was good this year, which he still is, I don't even know if I can count him as good. He's just better.
Mind-blowing that he was an all-star.
That could have been a good one, the Javi contract, because he legitimately was the worst player in baseball the last 2 years before this.
And one of the most expensive.
Right, but it can't matter now. Yeah.
Everything Matt Millen did is being thrown around. Fair.
Another good one.
Someone else texted in the Jordan Zimmerman trade that you were or the Jordan Zimmerman contract that you were talking about.
Yeah. As far as a free agent signing goes, that's the one that stands out to me in my lifetime. Just a terrible deal for a guy that was legitimately awful every time he put on a Tigers uniform.
Tim is saying, "Oh, you know what? How have we not mentioned this? Drafting Ebron when Aaron Donald was on the board and both of your defensive tackles were pending free agents. Fairley and Sue both ended up leaving."
Right, but Donald went much later, though, correct? Wasn't Donald early second round?
I don't know exactly where it went off the top of my head, but I think the point about not having, like, knowing that both
he was
of
the
your
13th overall pick. Never mind. Yeah, so for sure.
And Ebron was 11?
Ebron was 10.
10?
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I mean, even the several
The
guys
thought of
taken
that.
after Ebron, Taylor Lewan, Odell, Aaron Donald, Ryan Shazier, Zach Martin, C.J. Mosley. Wow, this draft is loaded in the teens.
Hiring Matt Patricia.
That's what I thought about. Yeah, Patricia, just the Quinn Tricia era. I mean, it's probably not as bad as the Matt Millen stuff, but as far as head coach goes, I mean, Patricia was the worst I've ever gotten to witness, not even close.
And Patricia was like,
everyone hated him,
It was
dude.
just a ticking time bomb from the very beginning, where he shows up late to his opening day press conference where it's like, yeah, sorry, I was running behind, and then he's just driving around the practice field on a four-wheeler. It's like, who the F is this guy? The players instantly hated him. Darius Slay openly still talks against him. Like, that felt like it was doomed from the very beginning when he tried to insert the Patriot way, and rather than connect with his players, be like a college coach where he tried to install fear in them.
And they signed all the old Patriots guys. They signed Trey Flowers and Justin Coleman. A nickel corner to some crazy deal. Like, yeah, that was quite a time.
No, it really wasn't. He was a ticking time bomb from the very beginning, it felt like, the way that his players hated him.
Yeah, that's probably the worst coaching decision, I would say.
Especially considering the guy that they had was, like, fine at his job in Jim Caldwell. He wasn't, like, the solution, the guy that was going to get him over the hump.
But everyone really liked Jim Caldwell.
And the Lions just basically said, we're done.
Yeah.
Like, we need a guy to get us over the hump. Insert Matt Patricia, who... Has he had a job since the Lions?
Yeah, he ended up going back to Philly to be the DC,
That's right.
and then he was calling plays for
college, right?
No, I think he was calling plays for the Patriots or the Eagles at one point, like a couple years ago. Like some weird stuff happened with Matt Patricia.
Well, remember he was calling off. He was like helping the offense with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "What is going
on?" I think he did end up diving into the college scene a little bit, but
he's Ohio State's DC right now.
Yeah,
as of this season.
Crazy stuff.
And he just served as an analyst last year. He was jobless last year.
Oh,
Eagles canned him.
What are you
going to
analyze, Matt Patricia?
Have you seen pictures of him now?
I mean, he probably looks just as bad as he did. Or he lost weight, didn't he?
Well, yeah. But like it looks like an aggressive amount of weight in a very short amount of time if you're picking up what I'm laying down.
Ah, the O word.
Right, the O word. 989-837-6125. Ooh, here's a good one. This one's from Twitter. Carson said, hiring Matt Patricia over Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel also...
the Patriots way.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been the way different. But here's the thing. You do that, and I'm a big fan of the butterfly effect. Like, clearly, if you do that, then you probably don't ever get Dan Campbell. You probably don't ever get Brad Holmes. And a lot of stuff doesn't happen the same way. I'm cool with the situation that they ended up in right now. It just sucks we had to live through those couple years of Patricia.
How have we not brought up the contract that you and I hate more than any other contract in baseball? Alex Cobb.
Yeah, what Dwayne just said in the chat. Yeah.
Alex Cobb, man. The $15 million, and who knows if he's going to pitch this year.
Speaking of that, I have something about him in the news.
He had another rehab start.
He might pitch this year. Yeah.
But it sounds like it's going to be out of the bullpen, if anything, right?
That's fine. I mean, there's not a spot for him in the starting rotation right now anyways, unless it's over Paddock.
Yeah, but like who's getting sent down? Like I don't know who I'd rather. I know Alex Cobb's a huge question mark. It's not like he's guaranteed. Like if he comes in and is not very good, see you later. Like you're not going to be on the playoff roster. And that would make it one of the worst contracts ever.
I don't think that this can be worst move though, just because it's a 1-year deal. Like no 1-year deal can be the worst move ever because it's just a year of it. Anything long term is obviously the bigger part.
I think Darko's taking the cake in terms of what our listeners are texting in. Most people are saying the Darko thing is the worst move. But the fact that they still won a championship, I don't know if it disqualifies it. I don't think it does. But
how can it be the worst?
How can it be the worst?
That's how I feel. It is like the worst draft pick possible. Like I said, I don't think of drafting a bust can count, but this one certainly can.
Especially considering who went after him.
Right. But once again, the butterfly effect, they trade for Sheed, they win a ring. Yeah, they went to 6 straight Eastern Conference Finals, so you assume with Carmelo Anthony, they probably can win another one. But at least we know that they got one in this current world.
Well, I think it's Bosch. That's the guy who you put in a theoretical and they're better.
See, I don't think so. Melo was going to be the guy. Like, Melo was the 2. The fact that Melo didn't go 2 was he was 2 or 3.
Yeah, but...
Won the national championship as the best player as a freshman.
If the Pistons
on his team.
were willing to go Darko, then I don't see why they wouldn't be willing to zag in a different way either. Because Carmelo would be the weird fit where it's like the Pistons were so team over anyone else, like there wasn't one score, and then they add the one score. Maybe that makes them a hell of a lot better.
I mean, they didn't really have the top
chemistry.
Score. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, who knows what would have happened? But I think it is safe to say that they probably would have been better long term. But once again, that's something we never really know. I'm surprised no one is really saying the Verlander thing like you, because the thing that
they got nothing back.
Well,
nothing.
Exactly. And the thing that you remember about the Verlander trade is it happened after the trade deadline. It was one of those weird – I remember when this happened, it was just an interesting deal as far as Verlander. I think it happened after July 31st, and he goes to Houston. Jake Rogers ends up being the top guy. Daz Cameron, I think you said, was one of the other guys involved in that deal.
Well, Jake Rogers was like the throw-in. That wasn't supposed to be the top guy, but he's the only guy that made it.
That's what I'm saying.
Franklin Perez was like this the golden person in this deal that they got back for Verlander, and he never even made it to the bigs. They got a bag of Cracker Jacks opened with pee all over it in return for Justin Verlander. They got nothing.
Yeah.
No one else texted that in. I couldn't believe it. At least not yet. Going all the way back, someone said trading Adam Oates. I'm going to have to educate myself on this one. I don't know if I'm familiar with
say that again.
Adam Oates, trading him. I don't know if I know this one.
Red Wings move, but yeah, I guess I'm not super informed on that one either.
All right, we'll get a couple more as the show goes on. 989-837-6125. The worst move that a Detroit GM has made has made in your lifetime, inspired by the Saints trading away a 4th-round pick yesterday for a wide receiver 3. Just incredible stuff happening down in New Orleans. 989-837-6125. We'll get to some more Mitt messages a little bit later on. We've got the news to get to. A lot of fun stuff coming up on this Thursday here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Great Lakes even things up in their 6-game series with Quad Cities last night, now tied up at 1 apiece after their 2-1 victory. The offense got going early with an Eduardo Quintero solo homer. The Loons would add another run in the 3rd, and tremendous pitching was the story. Logan Tabling making his first career start with the Loons, just his 2nd appearance in a Great Lakes uniform. Got through 5, allowing just 1 run and 9 strikeouts, which was a career high.
Tabling's pitch. Swing and a miss. That's number 9. And now a career best 9 strikeouts for Logan Tabling.
Brooks Auger would come in relief and shut down the River Bandits for the final 4 innings as Great Lakes took it 2-1. The Loons will look to take a 2-1 advantage in the series tonight. First pitch is at 7:30 Eastern Time. Pre-game coverage starting at 7:15 right here on The Mitt.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Allie Huntoon, the director and founder of Allied HR Solutions and Allied Group Fitness.
Lean on people I trust to help me get through things too. If I know that I'm overwhelmed or I need support with something, I usually try to reach out. Sometimes I'm still trying to do things all myself, and that's a learning curve too. Delegation is your friend. I'm learning that.
Something I definitely do.
So I think it's leaning on your team. I think it's putting things into perspective. Even though HR is very important and we have things all the time that come up with terminations or discrimination or harassment.
Listen to the full interview with Allie on YouTube on 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Do we have any spray paint?
Why?
I need lots of paint. I'm going to paint the house.
I don't think so.
But it looks bad.
Well, you can't spray paint the house.
And then let's call Brexy Siding and Building Repair. They can do it.
Is your siding looking faded, worn out, or just in need of an update? Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today for all your siding, roofing, and gutter needs.
Get ready, Michigan. Field of Frames Fest presented by Dow is taking over Dow Diamond September 26th through 28th. It's the ultimate celebration of gaming, esports, and community, bringing together fans, families, players, and industry pros for a 3-day festival like no other. Watch elite teams battle in high-stakes competition, the Valorant Collegiate Invitational and Rocket League Semi-Pro Showdown, each with $10,000 prize pools, a $5,000 Super Smash Bros. Open Tournament, and a 17U Fortnite Youth Tournament with $1,000 up for grabs. There's live music, entertainment, and activities for all ages, plus educational panels and hands-on workshops for those interested in tech, business, and gaming industries. Tickets start at just $25, and kids 10 and under get in free. Don't miss your chance to be part of a landmark event. Visit fieldoframesfest.com to grab your tickets today. Field of Frames. Experience the element of gaming.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, just to wrap up that conversation, we have to get a couple more in because you guys are lighting up the text line, and I feel like this is way too good. First of all, Austin Johnson says in the chat, Franklin Perez was the prized possession. I'm a jersey owner of his. Oh, man.
What jersey?
That's bad.
A Tigers jersey?
That's bad,
Or
man.
a minor league one? Oh, my God, Austin.
That's really bad. That's one of the worst jerseys I think you can possibly have.
That could be worse. That could be worse than the carry-on one I have. I mean, that's a bad jersey.
I got a buddy that bought a Akil Badu's jersey after he had that like awesome first 2 weeks. You did, or you?
No,
have a
one
friend
of my roommates did. Yeah,
that's a bad one. There was another. Oh, that same friend I have, Eric Haas jersey. He was just all in.
Dude, buying an Eric Haas jersey is actually diabolical.
He was all in. He was all in. And then we've got another text that says trading John Smoltz to the Braves has to be up there, you don't think? Yes, I do agree.
Former guest of the payoff.
Former guest of the payoff has sat right here in this exact chair that I'm in.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, trading him to the Braves. I don't even think he had ever
That's a
pitched
good
for the
throwback
Tigers.
one.
He got traded in the minor league system, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I don't remember at least seeing him suit up for the Tigers.
No, I believe he got drafted by the Tigers, hometown kid, and then he never ended up pitching for the Tigers. Just traded him away as a minor league guy.
I will say, like, at least we
That's
don't have one of
brutal.
those trades. I know the Verlander trade obviously sucks, but like, I'm really happy we don't have one of those like Fernando Tatis White Sox trades where you just traded him for a guy that really never made an impact at the major league level, and now that prospect is a superstar, or an O'Neal Cruz, not even O'Neal Cruz, but Jordan Alvarez, or just any of those deals. I'm really happy none of those exist.
Well, hold on. Let's see what the Tigers got back for this Jordan Smoltz deal, because
true.
He's
John
from Waver.
Smoltz, yeah.
I'm sorry, John Smoltz. He's from like Lansing, grew up here. It was like the perfect person to draft, hometown guy, like on this Hall of Fame. I mean, he's a minor league guy, so like can't say Hall of Fame trajectory, but obviously that's the way it went. I want to see what the Tigers got back for him, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
For Doyle Alexander, and Doyle Alexander was a pitcher in his 3 years for the Tigers. At the end of his career, he was very old in the final couple years. He was oh my goodness.
Like a win now guy. He was an established big leaguer.
Yeah, pitched his final 2.5 seasons with the Tigers, and in those seasons had a 4.32 ERA, a 4.4 ERA, started over 34 games each time, so a starting pitcher.
It's also when the Tigers were terrible.
He was an all-star in 1988 is for the Tigers as well. His only year being an all-star of his career. Probably was not worth it. Yeah, I would have to agree with you there.
That's a good old school poll. We need help on the ones prior to 2002, I would say. And you guys delivered. So thank you. We'll get back to those in a little bit. 989-837-6125. Again, the worst move that a Detroit sports GM has made. Until then, how about we hit the news?
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Alrighty, let's hop into the news, Ben. We got some big WNBA news last night. Paige Beckers sets a rookie scoring record. 44 points last night. 44 of her team's 80 coming just from the rookie. They lose, though, after Kelsey Plum hits a game-winning shot for the Sparks, 81-80. Paige Beckers shot 17 of 21 as a guard, making her the first player in WNBA history to shoot at least 80% from the field while scoring 40 or more points.
Hey, remember when I said, like, 2 years ago, Paige Beckers is actually the one that's going to change everything in the WNBA? Some are saying I wasn't wrong. I was just early.
Yeah, I mean, I would still say Caitlin Clark has made an impact as well.
Well, she just had another injury. You see this?
Yeah, I
she
mean, the
tweaked
Fever,
her ankle.
She's probably done for the year. I mean, like, with Sophie Cunningham being out for the year, the Fever are probably just going to chop things up.
The Caitlin Clark injury concern? Injury prone?
Oh, no.
The narrative has begun.
We're not building that narrative, are we?
I mean, she has been, like, dealing with
How did this turn into a Caitlin Clark thing, man? I mean, look what you're doing right now.
This is just what happened.
You've turned it into a Caitlin Clark conversation, talking about how she's not the one that's changing everything. We're talking about Paige Beckers here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Big game for her. I do got to toss in a little bit of minor league news here, because yesterday the Detroit Tigers high A affiliated West Michigan Whitecaps won their 80th game of the season. They're just the second team out of all of minor league baseball across all leagues to win 80 games here on August 21st.
Crazy.
Big crazy.
And the fact that they're still winning after trading, like promoting McGonigal and Max Clark and Briseño shows to you, like, it's impressive, but at the same time, if I had to guess, they're the oldest team in the Midwest League, for sure.
Probably. Definitely wouldn't shock me. Hopefully the Loons get to match up with them again in the playoffs, though. Knock them out. That'd be nice. All right, NFL news. You talked about it. A couple trades yesterday. Let's run through all the trades because there was like 4 of them within a 5-minute span. Really weird. They're all really small, so nothing too impactful. But you mentioned the first one off the top. Broncos trade wide receiver Devon Vele to the Saints for 2 picks, a 2026 4th and a 2027 7th-round pick. Another wide receiver trade, former Western Michigan Bronco Sky Moore traded to the San Francisco 49ers from the Chiefs with a 2027 7th-round pick for a 6th-round pick in the same draft. 49ers got a ton of wide receiver issues going on right now, so Sky Moore headed there.
Yeah, did you mention Juwan Jennings? 3-game suspension, that's probably...
DeMarcus Robinson.
I'm sorry, yeah, thank you. DeMarcus Robinson, 3-game suspension, so that's probably part of the move. Chiefs part ways with him.
And Jennings is injured, though, right now for the 49ers, and obviously he has his contract situation going on, too, where he wants a new bag. Ricky Pearsall is injured, so they just have so much stuff going on right now. They're going to acquire Sky Moore.
Who's the bigger Western Michigan receiver bust, Sky Moore or Corey Davis?
Corey Davis, obviously. Corey Davis was
fourth
like
overall.
Yeah, he was like the 4th or 5th pick.
Incredible.
I mean, but he also was like decent. Sky Moore was what? Like
Corey Davis lasted like 5 years. And then he retired.
Yeah, but he wasn't like a nobody. I mean, like, what pick was Sky Moore? Sky Moore was what was he, like a 3rd-round pick? I just searched it up and it just gave me the wrong thing. It's awesome.
Doesn't that
Shout
tell
out
you
to
he's a bust?
Google, man. The 54th pick. Okay, so he was a 2nd-round pick. I thought he was like a 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, he was up there.
Do you remember that play from Sky Moore, if people remember this, where Sky Moore like did the punt and then all the people ran onto the field because they thought the game was over and it wasn't, and then they ran to the end zone, they scored, and they had to count it?
Yep.
That was the weirdest play ever.
Okay, what do you think Corey Davis's career high in yards was?
950. Not quite 1,000.
Pretty close. 980. 984.
I figured he was not quite 1,000, but he was close.
No.
I mean, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's probably still a bust, though. I think that's fair.
I mean, as a rookie, he was god-awful.
Yeah. Need some Chippewa receivers. Hey, Antonio Brown, he wasn't a bust.
No, he wasn't. His head is busted up, though.
Right. And then the other trade that happened in the NFL yesterday, an in-division trade for the Lions at least. Minnesota trades defensive tackle Harrison Phillips to the New York Jets in exchange for a 2026 6th and 7th round pick. This one kind of made sense with the moves that the Vikings made this offseason.
Yeah.
Getting Jonathan Allen, getting Javon Hargrave. Harrison Phillips has been there for some years. He's a vet, but is now headed to the Jets, who also traded for another defensive tackle, Jawan Briggs, from Cleveland yesterday. So really weird, just 4 trades going on in the NFL. All very minor trades, though.
I think there's bound to be some more, too.
Yeah, now that cuts are starting to happen, guys that you just you want to clear up roster spots for, and then other teams can use a positional upgrade, so definitely could happen. More NFL news, Cowboys news. Brian Schottenheimer, that's the Cowboys coach, by the way, in case you didn't know, because some people don't know, because who is that guy? He's confident that the Cowboys will have Micah Parsons for their season opener with or without a contract resolution. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. I think this is inevitably going to get done, and Jerry's going to hand over the $45 million or whatever it ends up being, and wow, Jerry Jones, he got his deal done. He loves it. He wants to milk it down to the 11 o'clock hour.
Good for him. That's all I have to say about that. We have some pretty wild NFL news that came out yesterday. It's old news, but we found out that in May of 2024, there was a bullet fired into Andy Reid's office at the Chiefs facility. According to the report, the shot was fired from outside the Chiefs facility in Kansas City, went through the glass of Reid's office, and lodged into a wall about 15 feet from where he was sitting shortly after a midnight local time on May 4th, 2024. He was one of the few people at the facility doing late-night work there. In all, 3 gunshots struck the 3-story facility that night. 1 hitting the 3rd floor, 1 above Reid's office, and 1 hitting an air conditioning unit. No other people there that night were struck by gunfire, and they never found out the person who did it.
The Chiefs, man.
How are we just finding out about this? Oh, my God.
I don't know. The Chiefs are just... it's a reality TV show down there. Like, between the Chiefsaholic guy who was like robbing banks and on the run between the Taylor Swift stuff,
right?
This like the Mahomes and
Jackson
his family.
Mahomes even.
It's like the show that never ends.
Sometimes without even their own doing. I mean, stuff like this happening. It's just a lot of the times when you have that reality TV show stuff, it's all kind of built up. You know, you're intentionally doing it. But this is just...
I would argue none of it's intentional.
Probably not. I mean, I would say Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift probably is. But outside of that, yeah. Weird stuff there. We got some Bears quarterback signing news. The first quarterback the Bears have extended, Ben, since Jay Cutler.
Wow.
Is their backup Tyson Bagent to a 2-year extension, 2-year, $10 million. Could be up to $16 million guaranteed. Pretty cool story that Tyson Bagent has had. Honestly, was kind of a fun player when he played a little bit a couple years ago.
I liked him in Hard
Subbing
Knocks.
for Justin Fields. Yeah, he's a really cool character.
He used to do his college workouts. He played at some little school on the East Coast. I don't remember what. They used to just lift logs for weights. So that's all they had. Crazy.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool character, so good for him getting the extension. Just funny that it's the first quarterback extension since Jay Cutler. And that we'll save the rest for later.
989-837-6125. Look, we only planned on talking about it for one segment, but you guys continue to text in the worst move that a Detroit GM has made in your lifetime. So we'll hit that when we come back. Again, it's 989-837-6125. Then we'll move on in the 10 o'clock hour. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, live on 100.9 The Mitt, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. You guys can text in or leave a comment in the YouTube or Facebook as well. We'll try to peek at those during the break as well. If you got boring floors, sad showers, first of all, what are you doing? Second of all, Premier Tile and Stone is here to rescue your surfaces from the snooze zone. You hit snooze on your alarm? Are you a snooze person?
No, but I'm a set like 3 or 4 alarms 5 minutes apart guy.
Okay, so you're crazy. These folks turn tile into art. Kitchens, bathrooms, backsplashes, fireplaces. If it holds still, they'll tile it beautifully. Locally owned in Midland, but their work looks like it belongs in a magazine that charges $15 an issue. A giant selection of fancy stuff. I'm talking porcelain, ceramic, natural stone, and materials you probably can't even pronounce. But you'll love them. Stop dreaming, start scheming, visit the showroom, and let your inner interior designer run wild. That's Premier Tile and Stone, where your floors get fabulous and grout gets glorious.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Ace's place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace Hardware and Sports in downtown Midland has some extra savings for rewards members this month. Let's clean up that yard. Save $3 instantly on select Roundup and Ortho weed killers. Save $10 on 64-ounce spruce, weed, and grass killer. You know what season it is? Grilling season. Free assembly and delivery on grills, $399 and up from brands like Weber and Traeger. Need that deck touched up? Do it and save $10 instantly on a gallon of Cabot exterior stain.
Hey Midland, join the Silver Sneakers and Renew Active programs at the Midland Community Center, where fitness for seniors is fun and free. With Silver Sneakers and Renew Active, seniors 65 and older enjoy access to Greater Midland Community Center, North Family Center, and Coleman Family Center, all at no extra cost with eligible Medicare Advantage plans. Dive into all group fitness classes, exclusive Silver Sneakers classes, and our Greater Midland Walking Club. Get moving with Silver Sneakers and Renew Active at the Midland Community Center.
At Sandy Ridge, our completely renovated clubhouse is ready for you. With a brand new full kitchen, a spacious deck, and plenty of room for any event, it's the perfect spot for weddings, parties, or any special gathering. And that's not all. Our whole 16 green has been redesigned and is better than ever. Plus, our greens are the truest around, on par with the top courses, but at a price that fits your budget. Come visit us today at Sandy Ridge and see why we're the perfect choice for your next event.
Fueled by wonder and powered by science. At Dow, we're imagining better things for our customers and communities. It starts with our commitment to reach carbon neutrality by 2050, designing, building, and inspiring for the world around us. Because when we wonder, the things our world needs could be just one breakthrough away. That's Dow.
At First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, floors don't just get coated, they get a makeover. Epoxy's so tough, it shrugs off spills, stains, and even your wildest dance moves. Garages, workshops, anywhere you want a floor that's smooth, shiny, and just a little bit sassy, they handle it all with style. No more boring floors. Get ready to impress everyone who walks through the door. Slide into durability and flair. First-class epoxy floor and counter, where your floors get the VIP treatment they didn't know they needed.
It's your last chance to get to Dow Diamond. The Great Lakes Loons host the West Michigan Whitecaps to close out the 2025 regular season, August 26th through 31st.
It is good!
And the Loons are looking to secure a playoff spot and push for their second Midwest League championship. Tickets start at just $12 at loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt. You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got them. On Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be worse this season, but still go 12-5 and win the NFC North. I think the Minnesota Vikings are the biggest threat to steal the NFC North from the Detroit Lions. I think we got to taper back our expectations for Bryce Underwood, with him being an 18-year-old freshman and all. I think the lack of aggression from Scott Harris at the MLB trade deadline is going to haunt the Tigers for years to come. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show weekdays from 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Michigan.
This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right. 5 more minutes on this, and then we'll put it to bed and move on and get to a bunch of other stuff we had planned out for the day. But we have a really good comment on Twitter that I wanted to get to regarding the worst move that a Detroit GM has made in your lifetime. That's basically what we've been talking about for the last 50 minutes since we went live at 9 o'clock on YouTube. 2-minute account here, this person says, but here's a handful that always stick with me. Tigers trading Gino Suarez for Alfredo Simon. Pistons drafting Darko over Carmelo, Bosch, Wade. Lions using 3 picks 3 times in 10 years on tight ends. That's
True.
over the course of too long to consider the worst move.
I mean,
but
going if
yes.
Hawkinson would have busted and it was like Ebron Hawk, those
Busted.
two that close together.
Relax.
Okay. Yep. Never mind.
Jeez. Lions, this says this is a bonus one. Hiring Marty when Marucci said no. Sure. They also, Matt Millen turned down the job and said, I'm not qualified. And William Clay Ford was like, you're hired anyway. That could just be number one. And then the Red Wings dumping Adam Graves and Adam Oates in the 80s.
Okay, so that's the second time we've heard that one, yeah.
The Adam Oates ones?
But notice how you don't really hear many Red Wings stuff. You know? Pretty well-run organization for quite a long time.
Well, the problem is, there's not a worse move to point to now because they don't take any risks. Like, Yzerman just hasn't taken a risk here or taken a swing. He's just been
Right.
taking pitches for 7 years. And that's more of a current thing. But, yeah, the past, the history, there hasn't been a ton of bad moves.
Uh-huh.
Unless those two ones that pop up that we've been talking about continue to come up. But, yeah, I think the consensus from our listenership, though, based on everything that has been sent in via Facebook, via YouTube, via Twitter, via the Mitt message line, 989-837-6125, kind of just seems like everyone is just on board with agreeing it's Darko, which is crazy considering they still won a title.
More rings than Melo.
Darko?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not wrong about
Tough.
that.
It's messed up, but it's the truth.
Ooh, here's one that we haven't mentioned. This is from Jay on YouTube. Stan Van Gundy.
You know, I kind of considered that, and obviously, look, Stan Van Gundy is almost just like...
It's just too much power.
Yeah, they gave him too much. It's not even really on him. Like, yeah, it's the idea of hiring him as the coach and GM. Like, when he hasn't been in that role.
That era is done, right? I don't think anyone will ever have that job again. Coach and GM.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think if there's any even recently.
I'm
no.
sure there's coaches that have a good amount of say of what happens
Correct.
in the front office. And
Like, I think Brad Stevens did when he was the coach of the Celtics, and then obviously moves into that role eventually. But
right, and there's a lot of owners that kind of just act as the GM, like Pat Riley, but I don't think we'll ever get another player coach again, because if anyone was considering doing that, I think you just look at what happened with Stan Van Gundy, and it's like, yeah, let's go ahead and never do that again. It's just too much to ask of one guy. I don't know how someone's supposed to do both of those things.
Yeah, and
in 2025, nonetheless.
I got a major bias to Stan Van Gundy. I'm not gonna lie. I love the guy. Like, I'm a big fan of Stan Van Gundy. Like, as far as him as on TV as an analyst, like I love.
That's
Stan
fine.
Van Gundy. So it's like I can't like. It's hard for me to look back at that time and be like, man, I hate Stan Van Gundy for what happened then. Like, yeah, it was not good.
It was more of the position he was given.
Dude, you want to know actually when you said this, and I'm going to look this up right now to get the exact number, because the deal that I really hated, and this obviously isn't that big of a deal because he was a role player at the end of the day, but when the Pistons signed John Lure to a 4-year, $42 million contract in 2016, which once again, 2016 was that offseason where the NBA got
Everybody
a
got
huge
paid.
spike in the cap. Yeah, so the NBA has that rule where you got to spend 90% of the cap or whatever. So you
The
had to give
salary
out the money.
floor.
But John Lure was, he was terrible. He was god awful, and John Lure got $10 million a year across 4 seasons for the Pistons. That signing, because I remember there was other guys that offseason that maybe the Pistons could have went and got, and when they paid John Lure that, I was like, what are we doing? And obviously, who cares about that, because probably no one listening knows who that guy is, but that one is one that comes into my head.
The only other one that I've seen that we haven't mentioned, actually, no, we did mention the trading John Smoltz one. So yeah, I think that's all of them. I think we went through every single candidate that got sent in.
I have seen,
no one else agrees that it's the Verlander thing, but
kind of shocking.
Based on what they got back in return for that, I don't know how there's not more people saying the Verlander
one of the better
stuff.
pitchers of our era, of our generation, like one of the better Tigers of all time.
You got Jake Rogers.
Yeah. Something that I do see people, at least I've seen in the past, that Tigers fans aren't necessarily like super happy about, is the Tigers trading for David Price and then obviously trading him away the following season and basically getting less in return than they gave up. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's not the end of the world, I guess. But obviously you traded away Austin Jackson, that deal. You traded Willie Adames, who ended up being a really good player. Drew Smyly, who ended up being a fine pitcher, all to get a season of David Price just to trade him the following trade deadline in exchange for Matt Boyd, who was a good Tiger for sure. And Daniel Norris, who I guess you got Reese Olson out of Daniel Norris, so there's something. But, yeah, that's really the only one I can think of.
989-837-6125. Good job, guys. Last one. Dwayne just said Monty Williams. Yes. Hiring Monty Williams is the worst thing that's ever happened in the city of Detroit. All right. We I've got a lot of good stuff coming up. We're going to put that one to bed. Appreciate everyone who texted in. But this ESPN Direct launched today, this new streaming platform. That's this new worldwide era, new era of sports television. I think we have some hacks on how to get you through this new era. That's next on the Ben Bosscher Show.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
At Tommy's Express, you can get your car clean, shiny and dry in just minutes. Our state-of-the-art eco-friendly wash delivers a spotless finish every time. With the Tommy Club app, enjoy unlimited washes or paper wash. Skip the line with license plate recognition and manage everything right from your phone. Fast, clean, and simple. Visit Tommy's Express today and see the difference. Text Clean Car to 86697 for a free works wash.
Offer valid for new guests only. By participating, you consent to receive promotional information text from Tommy's Express. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies.
The Ben Bosscher Show is brand new, and to celebrate, we want to make sure one listener is a big winner every Wednesday.
That's what this is all about. It always has been about.
Every Wednesday this summer at 10:15 a.m., we're giving away 2 tickets to your favorite Major League Baseball team, the Detroit Tigers. This is your chance to head to Comerica Park on us, and thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet Midland. Again, Detroit Tigers tickets every Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the MHSAA, are the 292,000 high school sports students in Michigan. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
989-837-6125. Welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, live on a Thursday here in the Great Lakes Bay region, live on YouTube and Facebook as well. Today marks the new day, the new era of streaming sports. ESPN launches their ESPN Direct. They've got a whole bunch of different bundles. Look, this is confusing, but I think we have this sorted out in a way where we have a pretty good grasp on what is happening here. So we're going to try to help you get through this. So for anyone wondering, what is the big difference here? What does this actually mean? What do I get if I sign up for ESPN Select? Well, let's work off the assumption that everyone listening to this is going to want NFL Red Zone. Here's the thing. If you want the NFL Red Zone, it's $40 a month, which means it's $480 for the year. And not only do you get Red Zone, but you get All 22 and NFL Network. So you can go back and watch the All 22 and really get nerdy with this if you're into that. Instead of sitting at your office and being bored, you can turn on the Lions game and rewatch every play from, the coach's angle, stuff like that. For all that to be included for an extra $10, that's not a bad deal. So if you want to pay this $40 a month, which you can't even purchase the one with Red Zone until September 3rd, to be clear. But if you want it, $40 a month, you get ESPN Plus, so you get all the 30 for 30s, you get the other documentaries, college sports, tennis, NHL select games. You're going to get access to NFL games on ESPN, which is like the Monday night games. They've got more of those this year. NBA is now switching over to ESPN. You You got WNBA if you like that, college football, college basketball, Sports Center, all those other shows. You basically just get the non-Fox and CBS games. You're going to get ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN on ABC, ESPNU, ESPN Deportes, and all the WWE PLEs, something I will certainly be utilizing if I decide to purchase this for $40 a month. So still, though, $480 a year, it's not nothing. Sounds like a lot because it is a lot. But what if I told you you could have this for 50% off? The buddy system. Call your best friend up, ask them if they're interested in this deal, and do this exact same proposal to them. What if you could have this for 50% off? Because here's the thing. From my understanding, you can stream up to 3 devices at once, and they don't have to be on the same Wi-Fi. So you and your friend, whether they live down the road or across the country, from my understanding, do not quote me because there's still a lot, this is the first day.
And it's pretty quietly coming out today, too.
But from what I understand in my research, 3 different devices don't even have to be on the same Wi-Fi network, which means you could both be streaming Red Zone at the same time in 2 different households, and then you can just split the bill at the end. $40 a month turns to $20 a month. $480 a year turns to $240 for the year. That's not bad. That's really not that bad for everything I just included in this. Now, the $480 straight up. Hey man, if you can afford that without sweating anything, good for you. That's a lot of money. If you can split the bill on it, I think that price is significantly worth it.
I mean, heck, if you got 2 buddies, you can split it 3 ways.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in play here. Yeah, I mean, this is still a lot of questions to be asked, and obviously I've gone through everything just like you, and this is ESPN diving into their streaming service. They're basically Netflix now of sports. And I don't know, for the people that still have traditional broadcast television, whether that is through Spectrum, through DirecTV, through YouTube TV, through whatever you use to watch TV nowadays, there's not many other options other than those. Is Dish Network still a thing?
I don't know.
I don't even know. If you still have one of those, this is probably not worth it because ESPN is probably already in your TV package that you pay for currently. And the only thing you're missing is ESPN Plus and Red Zone, which the unfortunate part is that Red Zone is missing from this. If you already pay for, for me, my parents have YouTube TV, so I just use theirs. So it's am I going to, if I already have access to watch ESPN and all the games that will be on ESPN anyways on traditional TV, is it worth it to pay to get the Red Zone and the All 22, like you said, and the Sunday Ticket? Probably, if I can split it with someone. But interestingly enough, DirecTV and Spectrum TV customers may already get the ESPN Unlimited plan as part of their pay TV package, ESPN says. So there's potentially a deal that you can already include into your package if you have Spectrum or DirecTV. And Hulu Plus as well. Same for that. So I don't know. It's still pretty confusing to me. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of money, dude. For sports. It's a ton of money, and I don't like the way this is going. No one does, obviously, because everything is on a different app nowadays, and you don't even get the UFC because that's going to be on Paramount now, and it's tough.
And that's the other thing. You don't get access to any of the CBS games. You wouldn't get access to the Fox games, which a lot of college sports are going to be on those 2 things once the football season starts.
Every Lions game is on Fox, essentially.
Not this year. A lot of CBS games
Most
this year.
Lions games are on Fox most of the years, at least.
Yes, but now that they're in a lot of Prime, you
True.
still got to pay for the Amazon Prime portion of this. The NBC games on Sunday night aren't included in this. There's just, if they really could monopolize the situation and have control over basically everything that gets streamed.
Like how TV used to be?
Yeah, that's probably for the best because I don't really watch a lot of or any TV that's not sports related, at least live content. I'll go back and Netflix shows I'll watch and stuff, but I don't watch cable television. If they could really monopolize this, then okay, I think it's worth it. But for you to pay the $40 a month and not get access to all the NFL or all the it just feels like a lot for only getting half of the games that you're actually wanting to watch.
Well, and that's why ESPN has done this last-ditch effort over the last couple months to basically acquire as much sports as they can. You know, they go out and snag NFL Network, and all the content that comes from NFL Network is now going to be on ESPN, including the Rich Eisen show, which is a big get for them. And they go out and obviously get Red Zone, and they wanted to get the UFC deal locked down so they could keep them. They couldn't, but they do hang on to WWE, and they acquire MLB Network. Like, they try to get as much sports as possible on this app so that it is worth it. And at the end of the day, I just don't think it is worth it. Like you said, there's too much sports that you're missing out on even if you have this and you don't have a YouTube TV or you don't have a Spectrum or something like that. If this is the only thing you're paying for, it's not worth it because you're still missing out on so much sports.
Unless you split it. Then I think
Right.
there's a legit argument like, hey, let's split this until NFL season's done and then just cancel it.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Both pay like, I don't know, $180 probably be my guesstimate on that.
You go till January, December, because there's not even many primetime games in the playoffs on ESPN. There's one a week. So it's like, once the regular season is over and Red Zone is off, like...
Yeah, but then it's like, the road to WrestleMania has just begun. We've already got access to all these PLEs on here. May as well keep it until then. Then in the summer, I don't think there's any use for having it.
For the people that have ESPN Plus currently, which I am a ESPN Plus subscriber just for college sports purposes, because you can go back and watch any recorded game that's on ESPN Plus. You are already put into this ESPN Select thing. So there's the ESPN Unlimited, that's the $30 a month traditionally, and then it becomes $40 a month to include the Red Zone. If you have ESPN Plus already, you're already thrown into this ESPN Select thing, which is like no different than ESPN Plus is currently. It's just got a new name, it sounds like. So, yeah.
989-837-6125. You think this is worth it? That's the question I want to throw out to you guys. Again, 989-837-6125. We'll take a trip around the league when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. This weekend, you can tee up at Sandy Ridge Golf Course, Midland's hidden gem where every round feels like a little bit of a getaway. Now featuring a brand new clubhouse, part lounge, part hangout, all class, perfect for cooling down or talking smack after 18. Smooth greens, scenic fairways, and enough birdies to make your buddies jealous. Whether you're a weekend warrior or just there for the vibes, Sandy Ridge brings the game and the chill. Book a tee time today and start planning your outing. Or just stop by and pretend you know how to read a green. Sandy Ridge Golf Course, the hidden gem that's way too good to stay a secret.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Discover championship golf with amazing views at Apple Mountain in Freeland. Whether you're chasing birdies or just out for a relaxing round, Apple Mountain offers a stunning 18-hole experience for every skill level. Perfect greens, scenic fairways, and a course that plays as beautifully as it looks. Book your tee time now at applemountain.com. Apple Mountain. Golf elevated. Just minutes from Saginaw, but miles from the ordinary.
When the summer heat is on, keep your cool with Answer Heating and Cooling. Our expert team specializes in fast, reliable air conditioning repairs, installations, and maintenance. Stay comfortable all season long with top-notch cooling solutions and simply outstanding service. Plus, with financing options and special rebates, cooling your home has never been more affordable. Answer Heating and Cooling, where comfort is our priority. Try our new schedule online option or call us today.
Get in the game. The Gamers Game with the Great Lakes Loons on Saturday, August 30th. Presented by the Field of Frames Festival in Dow. The Gamers Game is where esports and baseball collide. Plus, don't miss the final fireworks loontacular of the season after the game, thanks to Farm Bureau Insurance. And the first 1,000 fans receive a Loons hat, courtesy of Fidelity Investments. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. We're in your town, your school, your huddle. 100.9 The Mitt is here for sports fans in the Great Lakes Bay region. From the hardwoods of Saginaw to Midland's Friday Night Lights. From the streets of Bay City to Freeland, Frankenmuth, and Hemlock. We roll through Beaverton, Auburn, Pinconning, Essexville, and Shepherd. All the way to Gladwin, Birch Run, Coleman, and Bridgeport. This is your sports station. High school, college, NFL, the Loons. It's all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan sports leader.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, let's do some college football. Why don't we? So this has been inspired by me binge watching this SEC doc on Netflix. Some amazing characters in this. Some amazing football players I'm excited to watch this season as well. So with that being said, let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
All right, here's what I want to do, Kyle. I want us to draft the most intriguing characters for this college football season that begins on Saturday, week 0.
Let's do it.
So this isn't best players in college football, to be clear. This is just the players that we are the most the players that we are the most interested in, that we're the most intrigued in, the best stories for 2025.
Now, I'm still allowed to be interested in some good players, though, correct?
Of course. I'll let you go first here.
Okay, so I mean, are we just it doesn't have to be a team or anything. Like I could draft 5 QBs if I wanted to. I'm not saying I'm going to, but
sure.
But I'm not going to do that. But I'm just kind of wanted to go over the rules here.
You do what you want.
Okay, the guy I'm most intrigued about is Caleb Downs of Ohio State.
Wow.
Just because of he truly is kind of one of those unicorn type defensive players. Can just be all over the place, over the field at all times. A guy like him, at least in his archetype, you don't see going high in the draft too often, and he is going to most likely. So I'm just kind of intrigued to see him in this kind of last season at Ohio State and after transferring from Alabama a couple years ago. I'm super hyped for him this season. So I know it's an Ohio State guy. People around here probably aren't going to love that, but I think Caleb Downs is the most intriguing guy in all of college football.
Wasn't even on my big board.
See, I don't know how you're going about doing this.
Just the guys I'm the most intrigued by.
Sure, dude.
Number 1. Ready for this? DJ Lagway, Florida quarterback. He is single-handedly responsible for Billy Napier's job, who probably has the hottest seat in college football. 19-19 at Florida, 10-14 in the SEC. There's an argument that of the quarterbacks that are not draft eligible this season, DJ Lagway is number 1. Former 5-star guy, and it feels like Florida is missing the lure that is Florida football, the swamp, the Gator. They haven't even played for an SEC championship since 2008. Similar to how Michigan was being talked about and treated, and fans felt like before Harbaugh showed up. So now they've got their quarterback, former 5-star, like I said. Now they've got the guy. Last year they were able to beat Ole Miss and LSU. This year the schedule is about as brutal as it gets. They've got a gauntlet of Texas, LSU, Miami, Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Feels like every week of the season we're going to get DJ Lagway versus some ranked team. So that is the guy I'm the most interested in going into this season. Can he bring Florida back to the top of the SEC?
Okay. I like that pick. I definitely would have thought about taking him. I will take another SEC quarterback that I think a lot of people are very intrigued by this season. Might not be the best guy, but has a chance to be the best guy, and I think everyone loves this guy.
You're stealing
it's
my
Lenora
second guy.
Sellers of South Carolina. He's just so intriguing just off of the glimpses we got of him last year. He's so young. He's such a freak athlete as far as for his size. And a lot of the word this season is he's going to be a much better passer this season. At least that's what all the training camp buzz has been. On his feet, obviously, is just a tremendous athlete. Can get out in space, break tackles like crazy. A lot of Cam Newton comparisons for Lenora Sellers.
A lot of Josh Allen comparisons,
right.
too.
And I also think that if he does go crazy, there's a chance he enters a draft. So I'm super excited for Sellers. He's probably my most intriguing quarterback pick for this season.
He's my Heisman pick. I bet on him to win the Heisman yesterday. Plus
Really?
1,700. That's the sleeper pick for me.
Okay.
South Carolina won 6 games to close out the year last year, and it could have been 7. They were like seconds away from beating Bama, which would have had 7 straight wins to close out the year, which would have put them into the playoffs. They just missed it last season. I can't wait to watch Lenoris this year. And if he wins the Heisman, not only do I think he enters the draft, I think there's a chance he's like the first guy off the board just because of the upside that you're getting. All right.
Yeah, I would agree.
I really didn't want to do it, but I'll take Arch Manning.
Oh, that was my next pick.
Yeah, I feel like he can't fall further than 3. He's probably the most overrated player in college football this year, and I don't even think that's his fault. He has 2 starts, all right? 2 wins, but they're against Mississippi State and UL Monroe. And besides that, he was really just used as a runner last year for Texas. Look, we're going to learn a lot about Arch Manning week 1. Week 1, a week from Saturday when they're taking on Ohio State in the shoe. But the thing with him, and the reason I think he's so high on this list to me, is anything short of a national championship and Heisman and a first overall pick is going to be viewed as a disappointment by Texas fans. Is that fair for this kid? Absolutely not, but it's the reality of the situation. Texas is desperate for an SEC championship. They're desperate for a national championship, and they're talking about him like he's the guy that's going to bring them back to the glory land. So that's kind of the expectation this year for him. I don't think it's fair, but it's the reality of things, so I'll take him 3rd.
Oh, man, that sucks. That was my next pick. Yeah, I mean, as far as intriguing goes, I don't know if there's anyone more intriguing than Arch Manning just because of all of the expectation that he has this season. So I like that. Okay, I have a pick that's kind of more based around his team than him, but I think that's why it makes him so intriguing this season. And it is going to be another quarterback. I'm going to take Garrett Nussmeier simply because LSU is under a ton of pressure to get back into the limelight here. And with Brian Kelly going there, they really haven't had major success so far under him. Won the national championship over 5 years ago now. And Nussmeier's kind of they have high expectations this year that they haven't had in quite some time. With Nussmeier as one of the Heisman favorites, one of the favorites to go high in the draft as well. I think that there's major expectation, and it kind of all relies on him. And Brian Kelly could be talked about and discussed in a different way if LSU doesn't succeed this season. So that's why I think that's pretty intriguing.
Nussmeier's fun because he's one of the rare guys, the rare quarterbacks that is going to finish his college career all 5 years with the same school. He's been with LSU the whole time. Sat through it, waited for his moment. Last year was his moment. He's one of those old school pocket quarterbacks, can manipulate a defense with his eyes, with his feet. I like him. He's probably the safest pick to get drafted number 1 overall, right? Like, gun to your head, you had to decide. I think he's the safest pick.
6th quarterback in the first round in that
Arch Manning was his first, and you don't think Arch Manning's going to the draft.
Right.
We'll find out a lot about him week 1, too. Clemson, LSU, week 1. 2 of the Heisman favorites. LSU defense needs to be much improved. All right, I feel like you let him slip to me. The most intriguing freshman in the group, Bryce Underwood. I don't think a whole lot needs to be said here other than there's a lot of expectations on this kid's shoulders, especially with the Sharon Moore suspension, and there's still not a lot of great weapons here. They're going to be asking him to do a lot with both his legs and his arm, and he's not going to have a lot of wiggle room to figure it out going to Oklahoma week 2. So I'll take Bryce Underwood here with my 3rd pick.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wasn't going to take him, but for sure is very intriguing nonetheless. I'm trying to go non-quarterback here, and as far as intriguement level goes, because obviously, like, I'm intrigued by Jeremiah Smith, but like he's already so good, so it's like, what am I really more intrigued by? He showed us everything he's capable of last season already, so I might take him still, but I'm gonna go in a different route here, because last year we saw obviously a Heisman type season from a running back in Ashton Genty and going super high in the draft. Will it repeat again with Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame? I think that's worth picking here, so I will pick that just because will we have another stellar running back season that allows him to go in the top 10 of the draft, because this whole trend of running backs don't get picked early has kind of been booted out the window the last couple of years. And I think Love has a chance to be that guy this upcoming season if he has another big year, especially with a redshirt freshman at quarterback for Notre Dame this season. A lot's going to rely on that run game there with Love.
Yeah, 1,300 yards last year, led the nation. Second most by a freshman. Or no, sorry, I'm reading the wrong guy's stats. Totally wrong.
Ooh.
My bad. Bad look on my bad. Yeah, it's been a full decade since any running back has won the Heisman. So, can he put the team on his back and do it again? TBD. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Jeremiah Love. 7 yards per carry last year, but they're only returning 2 starters on the offensive line. So, pretty hard to follow up a season like that. We'll see if he can do it. He was on my big board. Not all the way at the top, though. I am going to take Jeremiah Smith. 1,300 yards last year. Led the nation. Second most by a freshman all time. Do you know who number 1 is?
No.
Michael Crabtree. Most receiving yards by a freshman. 15 touchdowns, also led the nation. I think he's the best player in the sport. I really do. He would have gotten drafted ahead of Ted McMillan last year, who was the first true receiver taken off the board. Obviously, Travis Hunter went second. But I think Jeremiah Smith is the top player in college football this season. And the fact that we just had a wide receiver / corner win the Heisman last year, I want to see if it's possible to do it again. 2 more years of this monster. I don't think it's off the table for him to win the Heisman. That's how good I think he is. So, yeah, I will take Jeremiah Smith.
Right. It's going to be tough to do in a draft in a class that just has a ton of really good quarterbacks this season.
Sure.
It's
But
obviously usually when you see the non-QBs win it. But
right. I think he'd be the favorite if you had to pick a non-quarterback, though.
Yeah, I totally would agree. Okay, I'm picking between 2 guys here. Both quarterbacks, because I went non-quarterback last pick. I mean, the quarterbacks are just the most intriguing guys, you know? I could go bias here and pick Aiden Childs, hometown pick.
There's no way that he
going
actually makes this list.
Okay, you said my most intriguing players, man, not yours. I'm going to put that out there.
I said the sport's most intriguing players. I think was my intention.
Well, I'm intrigued on the Big Ten and the team that plays closest to me. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Anyways, I'm not going to pick him. I am going to pick Drew Aller, and it's different because obviously he's been there so long. You know what he is, but can Penn State finally get over the hump? Can they finally beat Ohio State? Can they go on a run in the college football playoff? Like, is this the year they finally do it? Because it seems like every year we get the noise that this is the year for Penn State. I heard it last year. I heard it the year before, and I'm hearing it a ton this year, probably more than I have ever. So you could probably just say Penn State as a whole, but obviously it's led by Drew Aller. So I'm going to pick him.
I think it's time to find out once and for all who this guy is. Right? Like, they're the 3rd favorite to win the national championship. They've got this trio of wide receiver transfers. The defense is good enough. The offensive line is good enough. They've got the running back. They've got it all. If they don't win the Big Ten, it's because Aller wasn't good enough. So, yeah. I like the pick. I don't have a defensive player yet. Give me Dylan Stewart. South Carolina. Edge rusher. 7 sacks last year as a true freshman. Not like earth-shattering by any means, but turn this guy's highlight tape on for 12 seconds and your jaw is going to be on the floor. I promise. Just Google him. YouTube him. Dylan Stewart. You're going to be amazed 10 seconds into a highlight video of him. Caleb Downs is great. Like you said, you took him with your first pick?
Yeah.
In terms of the position that both of these guys play, I think this is going to be the most impactful defensive player in college football this season.
Really?
I have a lot of stakes on South Carolina going into the year between the quarterback and Dylan Stewart. I'm all in on South Carolina this year. Playoff team plus 550 on Generic Sportsbook. Not too
ranked like
tough.
The 8th SEC team or something?
Not
probably?
too tough of an SEC schedule. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. How many more picks you want to go here?
Let's do one more each.
Okay. I will end mine with and I see some Nick Marsh love in the chat, by the way. For sure intrigued by Nick Marsh, that's for sure. But I won't pick him here. I will pick a guy that I think is similar to the Drew Aller, but obviously in a much different scenario, and that's Julian Sayin of Ohio State. I mean,
love it.
Talk about a guy coming in that was the #1 quarterback in his class, didn't play last year, filling in for the reigning national championship team with the best receiver in college football, potentially could be the best Ohio State quarterback we've seen in quite some time. So I'm very intrigued just to see how he kind of fills the gap of Will Howard and can he really, this young of a player, which we're seeing this trend now across all of college football, just so many young quarterbacks getting this opportunity. But if Bryce Underwood makes the list, I feel like Julian Sain has to.
Fair enough. Got to have one Ohio State guy in for every Michigan guy, right?
And we have, 3 Ohio State guys that have been picked on this list? Pretty tough.
Well, I don't think anyone else from Michigan necessarily qualifies. All right, with my last pick, I'll take Cade Klubnik. 4th year as a starter, all of which have been at Clemson. A lot of parallels to Garrett Nussmeier here. They're very similar, and they're facing off week 1, which I think is totally intriguing. The difference between those two guys is the way that their program operates. LSU, 18 incoming transfers. They have the number 1 ranked transfer class. Clemson, 3 incoming transfers. They are ranked 82nd. Dabo Swinney doesn't really mess with the portal very often. He likes his guys. He likes his way about doing things, and it works because they play in the worst conference. We'll see who comes out on top on week 1.
I'm super excited for that game, man.
Me too.
And were you more excited for that game or Ohio State, Texas?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
yes.
Fair. Can I give a quick honorable mention?
Go for it.
Deion Sanders without Shador and Travis Hunter. What's that look like?
That's a good pick.
He's not a player, but as far as intriguing figures, like, what is Colorado like this season without those 2 guys? Kind of interested for that.
TBD.
Yeah.
Will they be talked about as much in the national media? I don't think so.
No, but they definitely will still be talked about. But they won't be on TV nearly as much.
No, they won't. All right, that's going to do it. Those are our most intriguing players in college football. Shout out Nick Marsh. Didn't quite make the list. But Ryan Williams probably would have made the list before him. Although I think the gap between Nick Marsh and Ryan Williams is not that big at all. Nick Marsh was mind.
Ryan Williams just had that one
year.
crazy play, and everyone's like, oh, he's on the same level as Jeremiah Smith. Like, whoa, let's pump the brakes a little bit here.
Nick Marsh was mind-numbing last year in some of these games. Probably will be betting on him week 1 against Western. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. This Lions team was listed as one of the teams on the decline. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? That's next year on the Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Leaky gutters? No problem.
Shabby shingles?
We got this.
Remodeling?
Yup, that too.
Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair, your roof, gutter, and remodeling experts.
Any job, anywhere. Bresky can do it all.
Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today for all your roofing and gutter needs.
Call my dad, 989-529-8167.
At Scott Family Dental, we treat every patient like family because it's in our name. Our office culture is built on trust, comfort, and care, just like you'd want for your own loved ones. We don't sign
the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
989-837-6125. Welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt. The Detroit Lions were listed as one of the teams on the decline heading into this year's NFL season, according to ESPN. Kansas City actually topped the list, surprising enough. Detroit near the bottom of the list, but I thought this was interesting because the case that Bill Barnwell made that this was going to be a team that was on decline was last year. The Lions were 7-2 in one-score games. This year, they have the toughest schedule in the NFL. This year, there's bound to be some offensive line regression. I don't think any of us are doubting that aspect of it. And, the part that they note and that we've noted multiple times is that when Jared Goff is under pressure, he's a much different quarterback than when he's not under pressure and kept clean. And if that pressure is coming from the interior, it's probably over. And you look around the division, you got guys like Grady Jarrett, you've got guys like Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen for the Vikings and Bears. There's some good interior guys that the Lions are going to have to deal with without Frank Ragnow. They've already lost Levi Onwuzurike for the year. Dan Campbell said at his press conference within the last half hour, Josh Pascal is expected to be out a little bit longer than they initially expected, so I expect him out minimum 4 weeks to open up the year. So they're thin on the defensive line. They've already lost Alex Rakestraw, which I don't know what his role was going to be anyway. 2 new coordinators. Look, they lay out a compelling case, but I would argue they were 7-2 in one-score games because they were the more prepared team, and they have the more reliable offense that consistently can execute a 2-minute drill and get their kicker into field goal range. Just because they have the toughest schedule or the second toughest schedule in the NFL this year doesn't mean they're all of a sudden going to start losing to teams that are worse than them. They had the 6th hardest schedule last year and went 15-2. And from a roster standpoint, let's not kid ourselves. This is still one of the 3 best, 4 best in the NFL. Yes, there is offensive line regression. I don't doubt that, but J-Mo's going to get a hell of a lot better. Gibbs is going to launch himself into one of the 3 best running backs in the NFL. Not all that worried about the offense. 2 new coordinators, I get it. I get that. I really do. But the talent speaks for himself. It does. I expect Za'Darius Smith to be here. Look, do they decline in terms of what their regular season record is? I do believe that they do that. 15-2, again, seems very unlikely. But here's my biggest argument for why the Lions are going to be a better team this year than they were last year. 2 words. Aiden Hutchinson. When that guy's healthy, they're a better team. It doesn't really matter what else happens around them. Carlton Davis was out for the last part of last year. You replace him with DJ Reed. Meek Robertson was out for that playoff game, broke his arm in the first couple plays of the game. He's not, you assume he's going to be healthy by the time they roll into the playoffs. I guess maybe dangerous assumption, but Ali McNeil is going to come back in October. There is avenues for this team to be better than they were last year, even if the record is not as strong as it was from a season ago. That's where I stand on it. So if you want to say that they regressed because they didn't go 15-2, by all means, go ahead and do it. I don't think they're going to go 15-2. But I think by the time they get to the postseason and by the time January rolls around, there's no doubt to me that they are going to be a better team than they were last January.
Yeah, I think the whole strength of schedule thing, too. That's just, as of right now, that's the strength of schedule. Things can completely change by week 4. Certain teams just, every year this happens where the whole strength of schedule thing at the beginning of the year, we're all worried about it. And then halfway through the season, we're like, man, they actually had a pretty easy schedule because this team wasn't as good as they thought they were going to be, and this team wasn't as good as they thought they were going to be. So this is stuff that happens every single season, and to me, it's like I'm with you in the fact that the talent is still there. Yeah, they have a tough schedule. They play all these really good teams. I think they're still better than most of the teams they're playing. It's not like they're a middle-of-the-pack team playing against a bunch of better teams.
I think they're better than all but 3 teams that they play this year.
Exactly.
And I think they have a better roster in Kansas City. The biggest difference there is just, hey, they have Patrick Mahomes. They typically find a way to win games.
And they also beat Kansas City in a year that they probably had a better roster than they do right now.
Correct.
And the Lions definitely have a better roster than they did that season. So, yeah, I'm with you in the fact that there's been a little bit too much popularity of Lions regression happening this season. I've been seeing it too much across sports media, across people on ESPN, whatever it is, talking about the Lions are definitely going to fall this season.
Like, what do they think? They're not going to be in the playoffs? Like, who on earth? It's crazy that if anyone actually thinks that.
Well, and it goes back to the whole, there's this many new playoff teams every year, so this many teams have to not make the playoffs this year. And some people think that the Lions are the popular pick for that, whereas I think there's two other teams in the division that are better picks than that. You know? And all signs point towards the Bears are clearly maybe not to the point that a lot of people thought they were going to be at this point in the offseason.
No.
So the confidence level in them has gone down. You and I both know how we feel about Green Bay. Minnesota, I'm high on them, but at the end of the day, they have a rookie quarterback that we haven't seen playing yet. So, and they went 14-3 last year. Like, are they really about to repeat that? I don't really know. So, yeah, the non-division schedule is tough, and you play in the toughest division. But guess what? They also are maybe the best roster in the league outside of Philadelphia. So I think that just that in itself plays into this. I don't think they're going to regress.
I think they're the second best roster in the NFC.
Baltimore probably is a better roster.
I was just about to say, Baltimore is disgusting.
And just having Lamar in general, one, Lamar doesn't lose to the NFC. Two, Lamar has absolutely killed the Lions every time he's played them so far. So
they also have Derrick Henry as the running back,
I'm just saying,
and one of the scariest secondaries.
I'm saying even if they didn't have one of the better rosters in the league, like them just having Lamar, I'm not confident the Lions beat them. Like,
that's the difference maker.
Yeah, that's just a guy that the Lions can't really stop.
I think the Lions are good enough to where I feel decent about them. They have a chance to win every single game that they play in, right? Not to say like I think they're going 17-0, but there's not a team that I'm looking at like no chance they beat them. But if I had to pick one game where it's like scheduled loss, probably Monday night in Baltimore, week 3.
I think I feel like a no chance you beat them kind of thing. Like it would have.
I think they're too good to say that.
But it is early, right? What week do they play Baltimore again?
Week 3, Monday night.
Baltimore does this every year, man. Early in the season, they'll just lose a bunch of games. Not a bunch of games, but, well, I guess the Lions are a good team, but they seem to lose to a bad team or two early in the year every season.
Vegas last year, I believe.
Happened with the Raiders last season, like when they were coming off of a loss. So they're kind of like a similar team to the Bengals where they get off to slower starts, even though they did whoop the Bills last year at the beginning of the season too. So I don't know. We'll see.
989-837-6125. What other teams are regressing according to this piece? We'll tell you next on the Ben Bosscher Show, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandel.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland. Oh, the Tigers pull off the sweep yesterday. Man, how fun was that? You almost felt like it was a game that you were okay if the Tigers lose just because they pulled off the first 2 games against Houston without giving up a single run. You're going up against one of the best lefties in the league in Framber Valdez. But no, they put up a 6-piece in the first inning. A wild first inning it was, and then they obviously led the entire way. Charlie Morton, another pretty good outing, back-to-back for him in a Tiger uniform. And we got to give more praise to this bullpen, man. The Tigers' bullpen has not given up an earned run since August 12th. That's over a week ago. We know how good the combination of Vest and Finnegan has been. Troy Melton has been such a good middle guy ever since he's taken on that new role with Detroit. And it's starting to lean into the possibility that this is not the biggest weakness of this team. And when you're having a difficult time picking out the biggest weakness of a team, that's a major plus. There's nothing that sticks out right now with this current version of the Tigers in August that you're super worried about. Yeah, there's some things that you think they can touch up and fix, but right now, this Tigers team looks like a World Series team. You swept a first-place team in the Houston Astros of the AL West, and right now the Tigers look like the team to beat in the American League. Got to keep it rolling, though, throughout the rest of August before they face a couple playoff teams in September. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
In times of financial uncertainty, how can you stay on track? Call on someone who's invested in your success. I'm Kevin Spencer, your Midland Edward Jones financial advisor. At Edward Jones, we believe in building a complete picture of your financial life, including your unique goals and passions, so we can help you work towards achieving what's most important to you.
Contact Kevin Spencer today at 832-8428, 832-8428. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
Hey, did you guys catch anything yet?
Not a thing.
Ah, bummer, neither have we. I'm actually just about to head into town. I'm gonna go into Higher Standards Automotive. They got this award-winning service department with amazing technicians and this large parts department in case I want to fix it myself. They got the part there.
Whatever.
No, I'm serious, man. It's out there.
Yeah, just like when you tried to convince me Bigfoot was real.
Ray?
Bigfoot's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, we got it. Run! Get out! Stop into Higher Standards Automotive, North Eastman Road in Midland, right past the mall.
A beautiful yard increases both the value of your home and the quality of your life. Commercially, landscaping creates a positive impression of your professionalism and commitment to community, customers, and employees. Cervinsky Sod has been creating and maintaining outdoor spaces for 56 years. Whether your project is residential or commercial, the team at Cervinsky Sod Services will work with you to build and meet budgets and finish the job with top quality and in a timely manner. To get a quote, call 989-835-4810 or visit CervinskySodService.com.
We can't see tomorrow, but we can hear it. And it sounds like peace of mind, knowing our lakes will be better protected by placing Line 5 in the Great Lakes Tunnel. And that we've added extra safety measures while we work to build it, because we're committed to keeping the Great Lakes safe for generations to come. Tomorrow is on. Visit enbridge.com/line5 for more information. Enbridge. Life takes energy.
Get in the game. The Gamers Game with the Great Lakes Loons on Saturday, August 30th. Presented by the Field of Frames Festival in Dow. The Gamers Game is where esports and baseball collide. Plus, don't miss the final fireworks loontacular of the season after the game, thanks to Farm Bureau Insurance. And the first 1,000 fans receive a Loons hat, courtesy of Fidelity Investments. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic? Yeah. We've got them on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt. Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
989-837-6125. Do have a text I wanted to share here that says 96-97 Wings won 25 games less than their previous year. However, they were a better team because they're built to win in the playoffs. If the Lions stay healthy, especially on defense, that'll compare to that Wings season. Might win less games in the regular season, but better for the Super Bowl. Great comparison.
Yeah,
whoever
absolutely.
sent that in. Leave your name. We can give you a shout out. All right, so who are the other teams on this list that ended up being due for regression here this season? Kyle, you have a guess as to who else is on here?
Ooh, yeah, I do. Wait, this is not according to you though.
No, this is ESPN.
Okay, well you already said the Chiefs are on here, so I will say they are. I will say the Vikings are on here because basically this guy is just saying if they lose less games than last year, they're regressing, right?
Yeah, Bill Barnwell.
Yeah, which I do like Barnwell. Vikings are definitely on here, right?
They're the second team.
They're second, okay. So Lions, Chiefs, Vikings. I don't really know what the other teams are, actually. I kind of want to hear what... You know what? I actually have a sneaky one.
Okay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are they on here?
No.
Because they are dealing with a ton of injuries right now. And I'm just seeing kind of some natural regression talk for them. Okay, you can dive into the rest then. I don't have any other guesses.
Vikings on the list as well. 14 wins seems hard to repeat based on how perfect last season went. Kansas City on the list. They're atop the list because they only had a plus 59 run differential last season, and they had a 10-0 record in games decided by 7 or fewer points. But I don't know. Sometimes I think that's more of a factor in college football, the one-score games, than I do in the NFL, to where, like, you just have to be able to execute a 2-minute drill, and some of the best-run organizations and the best-run teams and the ones you count on the most just know how to do that. Lions, Chiefs being two of them, and some of the teams just don't know how to operate when there's 2 minutes left and pressure mounts and you have to go on a 2-minute drive. So, yeah, they're probably a similar situation where it's probably not winning 15 games, but is anyone really picking anybody else to win the AFC West? Anybody want to dabble with the Broncos doing it?
You kind of seem like you want to, right?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
I love the Broncos this year, but it's so inevitable that the Chiefs just win the division every year.
Yeah.
Vikings on the list. Another NFC team. The Commanders.
Ooh.
Feels like everything went perfectly for the Commanders last season. 7th toughest schedule in the NFL this year. They have 12 wins last year, and now they've got to play, teams like the Lions, the Bucs, the Eagles all this season. Obviously, they have to play the Eagles twice. I am kind of with... I don't think the Commanders are going to stink this year, but there is, like, of any team that's bound to just be like, hey, this is kind of disappointing.
Miss the playoffs.
I think the Commanders might be atop the list.
Yeah, still playing a division with the Eagles, which is going to be a really difficult division to win. And I hate pulling this card, but it just is true in the NFL. Like, Commanders had some pretty good injury luck last year. So did the Eagles, too. But it's very difficult to go back-to-back years without having major injuries hinder your season. So that can play into this as well. I don't mind it. But
they also don't know if Terry McLaurin's playing for them this year.
True. That's probably the big thing for them, because if your weapons group consists of Noah Brown, Deebo Samuel, and Michael Gallup, that's probably not going to be great for your young quarterback. And you also are going to cut Brian Robinson Jr., so who's even in the backfield for them? So, yeah, I mean, they made improvements this offseason. Like, they made moves to upgrade, but then those internal things are definitely the reasons why they could regress.
Well, they're also the oldest team in the league. Like, Bobby Wagner, Von Miller, taking up spots on their defense. Laramie Tunsil. They've got another old guy on their defense, too. Like, they've got a lot of crossing
Lattimore
their...
even is, like, older.
That's who it is.
Yeah.
Lattimore's just been bad the past couple of seasons, though. So they've got a lot to do in terms of, like, hey, we got to stay healthy here, which obviously is an issue for every team this season, but a very tough situation to be in, I think, if you're the Commanders. Other teams on this list. The Colts.
I mean, what, regress from what they win 8 games last year?
Yeah, and Bill Barnwell's basically saying...
Oh, so they're going to be like one of the worst teams in the league?
That's what he's saying.
True. Yeah, I mean, that could happen. I don't mind that, actually.
They would be the team that, like, if they do end up being terrible this year, the jump for next season, if they were to be able to draft a rookie quarterback, would be like, watch out for the Colts.
I would agree.
Because they went 8-9 last year with a minus 50 run differential. That's pretty steep. I'm in baseball mode. Point differential. Yes, that would be. It's going to be really hard for them to be better. I'll say that, with Daniel Jones as their quarterback this season, even though they had a hodgepodge of a mess of quarterbacks last year.
Still play in one of those divisions that I think is extremely wide open. And so that gives them the opportunity to at least mess some things up and just have a similar type seat. Like a 7-10 for the Colts this year would not shock me by any means.
Yeah, but would it shock you if they finished last in that division and had like 6 wins at the end of the year?
No, you're right. I mean, but also the last place team is definitely going to have less than 6 wins in that division.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What if they
like a 4-win team is the worst team in the league in that division, yeah.
I mean, they're led by Daniel Jones and have no receivers.
Yeah, hey, don't do my boy Adonai Mitchell like that. A little breakout season for him this year.
No. I don't know.
No, he says.
No, I'm out. Well, here's the reason he won't have a breakout season, because Daniel Jones is throwing him the quarterback or throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
I have we talked about Ben's betting Bible yesterday, this Google document I have of just things I've learned over the past couple of years of gambling on sports. Rule number 3, do not bet anytime touchdown scores as long as Daniel Jones is quarterbacking the team. The explanation, this one doesn't really need an explanation.
Can you do the Daniel Jones anytime touchdown score?
No.
Because that's more likely than him tossing one, probably.
That means no Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdowns either.
Oh, man.
I know. I can't do it. It would be breaking my own rule. I just don't think they're going to be in the red zone very often.
Oh, come on. Jonathan Taylor rips off 50-yard touchdown runs all the time.
It's true. I just don't know how often this team's going to be in the red zone as long as Danny Dimes is playing quarterback for them.
Put in Richardson. Yeah.
That's the week I'll bet on.
How do you like that alternative?
That's the week I'll bet on Jonathan Taylor to find his way into the end zone. How about that?
So is that the only teams they list in this article, or are there others?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so who do you think? Is there any other teams that outside of this that you're like,
The Packers. I just don't believe in the Packers and their vision. The vision that they see with their team, I don't share with them.
11-6 last year.
Yeah, I look, man. I just don't see it with the Packers. The thing going for them is they have a third-place schedule because they finished third in the NFC North last season, but I'm just going to keep going back to this.
Really young team, a lot of internal development.
Sure, but who are their blue-chip guys? Who are their alphas? Who are their difference makers in the playoffs? Because with the Lions, you could point to all these different playmakers on both sides of the ball. Hutch, Branch, Kirby. On offense, you can name anyone that catches the ball, really. With them, it's like, yeah, we have a lot of good players, but who's the alpha on offense? Romeo Doubs? Is it Matthew Golden, their first-round pick? Is it Jordan Love? I don't think so, man.
Throwing Jaden Reed, MSU legend, in the mix, okay.
Sure, but do you really think he's a blue-chip guy?
Obviously
nah,
not,
he's good, but he's not great. And you look at both sides of the ball, it's like there's really only one guy you can be like, yeah, alpha dude, and that's Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the reason I don't like the Packers.
I think that's fair. I mean, I'm lesser on the Packers this season, too.
They'll be good. I just don't think they'll be a Super Bowl contending team. But
11-6 last year. I mean, if they're going to regress, then that means I don't know if being good is an option. Regressing to me is more than a 3-win differential from last year.
3 wins, I feel like, is
that's a true regression, though. If it's 1 or 2 less losses, that's not even that big of a regress.
So if they go 8-9,
yeah, they're not making the playoffs. That's not a good team.
I agree. That's kind of like where I think
could
they're
that happen?
Finish.
Yeah. Oh man, 8-9 for them that'd be a really rough season.
Hey, you heard it here first when it happens.
Right. In the YouTube chat, Seahawks will regress this year. They are all in with Sam Darnold. Don't see that working in their favor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I kind of like that one. We talked about it a while ago. Is there a team that would shock you to be at the top of the draft next year, or at least that you a team no one's picking that it wouldn't shock you? Seattle was that team for me. I mean, that division is really weird this season. They were 10-7 last year. Still a super young team, so it's not like they have to compete right now. I could see them being like a 5-win team next season for sure. Darnold without O'Connell,
yeah, and a defensive-minded head coach,
right?
Not an offensive-minded head coach. Yeah, that's still one of the stranger moves to me this offseason. I would not have given up on Geno Smith like that. I get it. You wanted to get off the contract and replace him with someone younger, but you replaced Geno Smith with a different version of Geno Smith, a worse version of Geno Smith, and gave him a ton of money for 3 years.
Yeah, so, they got Milroe anyways. It'll all work out in the end.
Is Milroe going to end up playing just running back for them at some point, though? Is that off the table?
Oh, dude, I'm all in on Milroe.
I'm all in on Milroe.
No, I'm not all
coming in on 4th and 1 and running a tush push. That's about all I'm all in on Milroe for. 989-837-6125. We're bringing on Chris Castellani to talk Detroit Tigers. When we come back, you guys can watch on YouTube as well. Again, this is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We'll be right back for the 11 o'clock hour.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the local job market. We're here in person. And we're locally owned, so you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at Spherion.com to find your local Spherion office. Let's get to work.
It's your last chance to get to Dow Diamond. The Great Lakes Loons host the West Michigan Whitecaps to close out the 2025 regular season August 26th through 31st.
It is good!
And the Loons are looking to secure a playoff spot and push for their second Midwest League championship. Tickets start at just $12 at loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
The Ben Bosscher Show is brand new, and to celebrate, we want to make sure one listener is a big winner every Wednesday.
That's what this is all about. It always has been about.
Every Wednesday this summer at 10:15 a.m., we're giving away 2 tickets to your favorite Major League Baseball team, the Detroit Tigers. This is your chance to head to Comerica Park on us, and thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet Midland. Again, Detroit Tigers tickets every Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mize stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be worse this season, but still go 12-5 and win the NFC North. I think the Minnesota Vikings are the biggest threat to steal the NFC North from the Detroit Lions. I think we got to taper back our expectations for Bryce Underwood, with him being an 18-year-old freshman and all. I think the lack of aggression from Scott Harris at the MLB trade deadline is going to haunt the Tigers for years to come. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show weekdays from 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said.
From Midland to Bay City, Saginaw to Sanford, from Frankenmuth, Freeland, and Hemlock to Auburn, Essexville, and Pinconning, 100.9 The Mitt is the heartbeat of the Great Lakes Bay region, and proud of it. We're your home for local sports, local stories, and local pride. Whether you're in Birch Run, Beaverton, Gladwin, Chesaning, or Coleman, football, basketball, hockey, Spartans, NFL, Loons, all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader. From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome back in. Ben Bosscher here. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt, live on YouTube, Facebook as well. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We are joined by Chris Castellani, the Chris and Company podcast. Chris, man, the Tigers, one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. I have struggled to be all the way back in on this team, and I'll tell you this. On August 1st on the show, I set a goal for them. Win 6 of your 9 series in August and beat either Philly or Houston at some point, like beat one of them in a series. And obviously they haven't accomplished both of those goals yet because we got to get through August. But after a series like that and they sweep the Astros, it's kind of hard to not be all the way back in on this team. So where are you at with them in terms of picking them to come out of the AL?
I'm feeling a lot better. I legitimately think, and I've said this for a while, I think this American League is so wide open that even record isn't necessarily the best indicator of how a team's going to finish in October. I mean, I think that this thing is so wide open. At the same time, and this is something that I've discussed, for about a month, I felt like the ceiling of this team was getting lower and lower. And I felt like we got to a point where we were saying, okay, look, division is probably in play. They're probably going to win it just because they established such a huge lead in the first part of the season. But this does not look like a team that's going to win a playoff series. It looks like a team that might even struggle to win a playoff game. I think over the last several weeks, the way that they've punched back has been really impressive. And now, like, you can start to think to yourself, okay, is this a team that's good enough to win the pennant? And is this a team that's good enough to make a run to the World Series? And I think, what we found out, thankfully, is the team that we saw in the first 100 games of the season, whatever you want to call it, that team does still exist. And I think that there was some concern about whether or not this was just some kind of fluky campaign in the first half of the season. No, they're back to doing what makes them a good team. That they're playing the matchups, they're pitching very well, they're getting timely hits. I think Cody Stavenhagen kind of put it best. It feels like they have their swagger back, which is huge.
What do you think the biggest part of this win streak has been, at least that has stood out to you, Chris? Because obviously we know the back end guys in the bullpen have been tremendous. The offense has been timely, like you mentioned, or they have just come to play early in the games, and the starting pitching has been good as well. So what part of the game, if one of those three things or maybe something else, has stood out the most to you in this hot streak?
Yeah, it's a couple things. One, I mean, I do think it starts with, now Houston is the exception to this, but this started with playing some lesser opponents. Because I didn't think that they were even playing their best baseball against some of these teams, but you play the White Sox, you play the Twins, you play the Angels at home. These are not necessarily, top caliber teams. I think that helped them, kind of steady things. And where it starts, and I just think it's been the identity of this ball club for a long time. They're pitching a lot better. And we obviously go back to the Scoobles of the world, who's the best pitcher in baseball right now. But I think as a whole, you just had in this recent series against Houston, I think the biggest positive development, you had as good a Jack Flaherty start as he's ever had here, legitimately going 7 scoreless. You had a really stable, solid Charlie Morton start. That's now 3 out of 4 as a Tiger. And you not only look at where this team's at and how they're pitching currently, but you start to kind of put together what a postseason rotation looks like, and you say to yourself, okay, well, if these guys pitch the way that they have, this team becomes more dangerous. I also think that we've seen a lot more balance and consistency with the offense. I think that I focus so much on the peaks and valleys of Riley Green, but there's a lot of that in this lineup where it feels like either they're, we kind of saw it in the Houston series, even though as good as Hunter Brown is, you'll have the 10-run game and it'll be followed up by the 0-run game. I feel like, generally speaking, they've just been on it. They've been significantly more consistent. Some of their platoon pieces have really started to come around. Jamai's been good. Andy Ibanez has been good coming off the bench, facing lefties. So I really do think, as simple as it sounds, it's a combination of factors and just getting back to playing better fundamental baseball, which it felt like they had lost there for a while.
You mentioned the peaks and valleys of some of these players on the team. I mean, we've seen Riley Green have his slumps. We've seen even Glaber recently has been in a little bit of a slump. Seems like he's back out of that at this point. But with Torkelson, hasn't really been in a slump at all this season. I think now that Glaber has officially been in and out of his slump, Torkelson is probably the most consistent player throughout the course of this season to me. What do you think it is about him that has led to him not having the peaks and valleys that a lot of these other players have had?
Well, I think that he's finally figured, and we have finally figured out the type of hitter that he's going to be. I think that the biggest thing this season, and this is what just destroyed him a year ago, he's hitting velocity. He's got his power back. He's hitting fastballs. The guy has a tremendous pop, and that can break you out of a slump very quickly. If you're in an 0 for 10 stretch and you get a fastball down the middle, or you get a hanging breaking ball, and you can take it 400 feet. There's not a ton of players in baseball that have the ability to do that with the consistency that Spencer Torkelson can do it with. So I think that's a huge part of it. I think that what it comes down to is Spencer Torkelson, and you could say it really about anybody on this team, but I think especially with him, in his first few seasons, and I really think this is where he got in his own head quite a bit. You see a guy pressing at the plate, and you see swing decisions that simply aren't good swing decisions. Pitches out of the zone that he's chasing, thinking he can do something with. Well-placed strikes in the zone that he's trying to rip for doubles or home runs that just aren't really hittable pitches. I think that when you look at his swing selections this season, it sounds very simple, but he's swinging at strikes and he's taking pitches that are off the plate. And I really think that's been the biggest difference with him. And I think that hot start that he got off to was so important, just because when you struggle as long as he did, you probably start to question the ability a little bit. And I feel like the fact that he got off to the really hot April that he had, I think that it's just allowed him to settle in. And I think that was a huge thing too, because he no longer feels like he's playing for a role on this team, which he was coming into the season. Yeah. I mean, it was Colt Keith's. It was Colt Keith's job at first base coming into the year. You put up good numbers we're now 130 games into this campaign. I think you can play a lot looser. You can play a lot fresher, knowing that, I'm going to take the first base glove pretty much every day. This is going to be my role. I've earned it. I think that AJ's instilled that confidence in him as well. well. So it's a combination of factors, but I think it goes back to what Scott Harris has preached from the beginning. I just think he's done a much better job of controlling the strike zone.
Well, remember there was like those reports at the end of spring training that was like Torkelson was playing well, but they still wanted Cole Keith to play the first baseman. They were like, he's taking reps in the outfield now. I was like, what?
Yes.
What is happening?
About that, honestly, yeah.
I did too. Yeah, well, this was, and it feels so long ago, but people forget like the historic, like the Linsanity run of center field injuries that we had to a point where it was like legitimate of like, I mean, if Tork's hitting, I don't know, put him in right, maybe, sure. Like it really did get to that point. So yeah, no, it's, and I am a believer, and I think we even saw it with Keith, that stuff can really kind of mess with your game, not knowing where you're going to be playing on any particular day.
Oh, yeah.
I think the fact that Tork has been able to, and his offense has been a big reason for this, comfortably, slot himself into that first base position every day, I think has really helped his confidence.
Yeah, and I think like one of my favorite stats on the season is that he only has 3 games on the season where his season-long OPS has been south of 800. Like he has just been super consistent this season. We've been talking about like the biggest surprises of the Tigers team, obviously all season, but I feel like a guy that honestly has taken the cake for that. I know Zach McKinstry is like the common answer there. Javi Baez being what he has been this season has been tremendous, but Dylan Dingler doing what he has done this season, both defensively and offensively, is something that I truly didn't expect to happen season-long wise. I mean, why has Dylan Dingler been as good as he's been for this Tigers team this season?
Yeah, I think a player like Dylan Dingler is a prime example of where this regime's player development is at versus where the previous regime was. Because Dylan Dingler it was the COVID year draft. We took Torkelson with the first pick. Our next pick was Dylan Dingler, meaning that this was a guy who was, came out of Ohio State, expected to be a really good catcher. And in the minors, his first 2 years, he was just, he was okay, good behind the plate, could hit for some pop, but not overwhelming numbers, nothing that really blew you away. And then he really came along really kind of right around the time that Scott Harris brought his team in here. I think you could make an argument, honestly, after, I know that Green's driven in the runs, and there's probably, guys with a higher ceiling offensively. Man, you could argue Dylan Dingler from a position player standpoint has been the most valuable player on this team. I mean, this is a guy, honestly, like if we're talking guys that are currently on the roster right now, if I'm Scott Harris, that's the next guy I'm thinking about locking up to a team-friendly contract, just because this is somebody who is going to provide value every single game at the most important defensive position. The running game is non-existent when Dylan Dingler's behind the plate, quite frankly. I mean, the guy has had a cannon there all year. I think that he has, and I think Rogers has probably helped with this, being in the dugout with him. I think his game calling has helped a ton. Some of the best starts has improved, a ton. I think some of the best starts of Skubal, some of the best starts of Jack have come with Dylan Dingler behind the plate. I think that was a huge moment in this season where Jake missed a month. And it was Dingler who was catching Skubal for that time. Keep in mind, Jake caught every pitch of Skubal's Cy Young season a year ago, so you thought that there might be some adjustment. There wasn't. Skubal was shoving, and Dingler was calling great games for him. And then offensively, the power's there. It's something that I've talked about before. In general, most catchers in baseball aren't great hitters. I mean, it's very rare that you see a JT Realmuto type or obviously this year, Cal Raleigh type. Dingler is in that short list of really good hitting catchers against both righties and lefties. I think he's been really solid this year. And you talk about consistency. He's another guy who I don't feel like has had really many peaks and valleys or slumps. I think that he's a really valuable two-way player that I think the Tigers believed in and knew that they had something with him, and maybe the league had kind of forgotten about. I mean, he's still essentially a rookie. I know he got some reps in the latter part of last season, but he has been, to me, probably the most improved, biggest surprise on this team. I think it's a huge reason why this offense has taken a massive step forward, that you can put a guy like that in the 6-7 spot in your lineup, and he probably has a ceiling of a guy that can hit 20, 25 home runs.
Dylan Dingler, great candidate. Not saying either of you are wrong. I'd like to throw Wenzel Perez into this conversation too. Like, I joked around with Kyle yesterday, Chris. I was like, I don't know what to make of this guy anymore, because you'd think at some point this is going to fall off, and it just hasn't, and it's been a year and a half of this now where he's doing it from both sides of the plate. I think he's gotten way better defensively than he was in the outfield a year ago today, basically. Now he's not only got a cannon out there, but he's robbing home runs like he was. Like, This guy has been sensational, has the power, one of the guys with 10-plus home runs on the team. I can't figure out what to make of him, whether or not this is like, hey, is this an untouchable piece in the franchise? Is this, someone who's just hot right now? Is this someone who is a part of this long core or this core for this team going forward? He's been such a revelation, I think, for this team this year.
He's a part of this. No, like he's in terms of the long-term outlook of this organization. I mean, I think he has earned his way into being a core piece here. And obviously things change, he's got to continue to hit and everything, but it's something that has always, until recently, really annoyed me about the Tigers organization that I feel like they've fixed, which is that there's these other organizations in baseball that sign these guys, these international prospects, literally when they're children and for nothing. And they end up becoming, that's how Jose Ramirez got signed. That's how Jose Altuve got signed. I mean, there's so many examples of teams taking flyers out on these international prospects who end up becoming really good players. The Tigers have never done that with any consistency. And Perez was a guy that they signed when he was, I think, 17 years old. He was in the minors for 5 seasons. In fact, they almost lost him to the Rule 5 draft. Like, he was a candidate to be, taken in the Rule 5 draft. Has a really good minor league season in 23, gets called up last year, contributes. He's one of those players who, I don't know if he's necessarily flashy, though what he's been able to do defensively is pretty incredible, but he kind of doesn't do anything wrong. Like you said, like you can put him in any spot in the outfield. He's gotten, over the last 2 years, and I'd have to check the metrics, but just in terms of the eye test, some of the clutchest hits for this team in high leverage. I mean, really, that game against Houston a few nights ago, while it ended up being 10-0, they blew a few opportunities early. It was a 10-pitch at-bat that he homered in, which led to them kind of, opening the floodgates. AJ loves the versatility. He loves guys who can move around the diamond. I think the next step for him, and we'll see, this won't be something that they'll focus on until probably the offseason. He came up as an infielder. He came up as a shortstop, and they moved him to the outfield. I think that, and as much as I like ZMAC, I think that they could view Wenzel over time as Zach McKinstry perfected in a lot of ways. I think that we could see him in the future attempting to give him reps back at the infield again to turn him into the ultimate utility guy. But for the time being, I mean, he's hit for power. He's gotten clutch hits. I think he's also been one of the big surprises of this ball club.
Good base runner too. Like, I like the Zach McKinstry comparison. It's like Zach McKinstry on Super Serum if he can hit his potential. Yes. You were at the game on Tuesday, correct? The Tarek Skubal start.
Yeah.
That atmosphere through the TV, it felt like a playoff game. There's no other way to put it. You start a rain delay. Rain ends up coming in extra innings as well. It didn't matter. Comerica Park was on their feet. Can you tell me a little bit about the atmosphere down at Comerica Park on a random Tuesday, nonetheless?
Yeah. Okay. This is my theory. Is I've been to a lot of games this year, but the Minnesota Sunday night game and that game against the Astros on Tuesday, I really legitimately felt like rivaled the playoff atmospheres from last year. And I think that what it was is last season you had a fan base that collectively was in such shock about what had happened, about the fact that they were actually there, that even the environments were like, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll cheer. We didn't expect to be here. Like, this is kind of cool. I think now people like actually believe and are aware of how good this team is, because no, I'm with you. Like, early on, through 3-4 innings, I'm like, this is going to be one of the better games of the year. It's definitely one of the better environments, and it was a perfect game for the fans to get into, because it literally was first 1-1 wins. Yeah. I mean, it almost became like a soccer environment there for a second, where it's like, who's going to break first, and they were into it, and then. And Detroit loves this. It was when the conditions started to get worse. I swear to God, the place got louder. It started to drizzle a little bit. You saw a few mistakes in the outfield by the Astros outfielders. And then it just became completely unpredictable. No, I mean, it's something that always frustrates me with baseball. And it's always frustrated me when people criticize the organization, where it's just like, look, if you give this franchise, or if you give these fans just something to cheer for, they're going to fill this place and it's going to be rocking. I think it's very unfair to criticize the atmosphere of a ballpark when you have a team that's losing 100 games. Like, what we've seen over the last few years has really been an ascension. We've seen it with the Lions. We saw it with the Pistons this year. Like, it's great to see them embracing what has been a really fun young team, and hopefully it continues. But yeah, no, I remember thinking that as well on Tuesday, even when it started raining there towards the end. Like, people were really into it. I think the Skubal starts are just a jolt of adrenaline, anytime he pitches. But it was as fun as it's been this season.
Yeah, I mean, that screech that the crowd made after that Vest strikeout in the 10th was just, I mean, that was tremendous. What do you think the plan is going forward for this starting pitching group? Because it seems like it's a 4-man group locked in right now with Chris Paddock kind of being that 5th guy, but is he going to be long-term in the rotation with A, Alex Cobb making a couple rehab starts, but B, I mean, Troy Melton and Sawyer Gipson-Long both being included as bullpen arms now. Will Melton maybe see himself in the starting rotation come playoff time or in September? What do you think their plan is for that 5th spot?
Oh, this is where having, and knock on wood here, but that things continue. This is where having a 10-game lead helps them, because I honestly think if this was a 2-3 game, race and it was a lot closer, I think the possibility of Paddock being out of the rotation, moved to the pen, increases greatly. I think the way that they have it right now is the way it's going to be for the remainder of the regular season, which is the one thing that people have rightfully been concerned about and complained about with this bullpen is lack of swing and miss, lack of velocity. Well, you've gotten that now with your 2 guys on the back end with Finnegan and Vest, but you also have that with Melton. Melton's stuff is insane. And I think they really like this idea of let's get this guy who in a postseason situation, given the off days, we could bring in for a 2-3 inning stretch in high leverage, and he can kind of just air it out and get swing and miss. I think that the Paddock starts will just be what they are. I think that I do think he's probably a little bit better than he's been in his starts against Minnesota, but not much. He'll be that 5th starter. I think they like the idea of having these young guys at like SGL, like Melton in the pen. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility if something happens that those guys get spot starts or they decide to do a bullpen day here or there, but I think they like the current setup that they have with these guys. And also, and I don't think they'll come out and admit this necessarily, but they want to monitor innings too with Melton, and I think that it's a perfect kind of compromise from their perspective to say like, hey, we can have this guy pitching meaningful innings, but we're not having him blow past his innings limit that he had down in the minor league. So I think it's a good compromise right now. I think where they have it, it's the 5 that they have in the starting rotation is how it's going to stick. I would be stunned, sans a garbage time inning, if Chris Paddock gets any meaningful reps in the postseason. I think it'll be very similar to Maeda a year ago, where it's like, look, you're here, and heck, you might even be on the postseason roster, but outside of a 7-run lead or a 7-run deficit, we're very rarely ever going to use you. He is the very definition of a 5th starter right now.
Yeah, the Melton thing is interesting because I think obviously he's a long-term starter for this team, but with you have the back end of the bullpen that you trust, and then you have some of the starters that once in a while can give you really good outings, also equally as much kind of have the blow-up starts and have to get taken out of the game early. I think having a Melton in the bullpen right now to give you some insurance. I know Flaherty's off the best start of his Tigers career, but there are some starts where it's like, hey man, we can't keep you out there anymore, and it's only the 4th inning. Casey Mize, exact same situation. So to have that little insurance of, all right, if one of the starters has a bad outing, here comes Troy Melton to get us to the point where we can bring in Finnegan and Vest. That I think is key for the Tigers once they get into the postseason. So, all right, last thing I have for you. This is something I'm like banging the drum as hard as I can right now because I
think I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
I think I saw a tweet from you this morning with the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Get Kevin McGonigal in Toledo. There's no reason that he needs to be in Double-A at all anymore. He's got an OPS of, I think it's like 987 right now, which is higher than Riley Green was when he was in Toledo. Torkelson. You can even go big picture-wise. It's higher than Bobby Witt, Ronald Acuna. It's higher than Bryce Harper had in his time in Double-A. He's having one of the better Double-A stretches anyone's had, and I know it's like 28 games, but I don't think he's learning anything there anymore. Bring him up to Triple-A, and if he's still hot there, why not, with this 10-game lead that they have in the AL Central, start working him into the lineup in the big leagues? That requires him to have some success in AAA first, but you can't see if he has success in AAA until you actually call him up. I think for a long time they wanted to pair up Clark and McGonigal and have them go through this together. No, screw that. Get McGonigal up to AAA right now. I don't see why they're waiting.
I'm not against it. I don't know where their mindset is at with this. I think that and they've always been high on McGonigal. I think even they're surprised by this.
Who isn't?
I mean, he is the top, at worst, he's the second best prospect in baseball. I think he's the best prospect in baseball. And it's not just, look, like you bring up Green and some of these guys who had really good minor league numbers, but this is Man, I almost feel like I'm hyping the guy up too. This is closer to Juan Soto than anything, where
Yeah.
it's like not only do you have a guy who is doing everything right offensively, he has more walks than strikeouts on the season. Like this is not your typical, modern 2025 hitter who's going to strike out 150 to 175 times. I mean, the ratio there is really ridiculous. So it's becoming a possibility that we see him ascend to AAA and maybe even beyond that. What I'm confident in, and I think this is where it's going to stand, is like they are going to give him a long runway to be the opening day shortstop next season. I agree with you. I think that there was a point where they said, "Oh, we can have him and Clark and Briseño kind of come up together," and I still think those guys will be wonderful players. But he's just lapped them, and it's not a knock against them. He's probably lapped every hitter in the minor leagues at this point. So I think that his call up time will be much quicker. But yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I didn't think there was a chance we were going to see Job last season, and they brought him up the very, very end. It's possible, and it's tougher with position players, but it's possible that we see something like that again. Just because I don't know if it's necessarily a reflection of where the primary team in the major leagues is at, more so of just like, this happens sometimes. Sometimes guys just force their way into the big leagues, and he might be on the verge of doing that.
Hey, Sumi, sometimes I know Javi Baez was an all-star, but sometimes you see some of these bats, and I'm like, I just don't think McGonigal would be having those sort of hopeless at-bats in the plate. Chris Castellani, always good having you on. We'll catch up with you next week, man. Have a good weekend.
Yep, good stuff, fellas. Appreciate it.
There he goes. Once again, Chris Castellani. You guys can give him a follow on Twitter. Always good interactions to have there. All right, 989-837-6125. We still got the news and our two traditions to close out every single show. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. Bright smiles start at Scott Family Dental, where comfort care and clean teeth come at a standard. Locally owned by Brandon Scott, a native of the Great Lakes Bay region, the business is family-focused and treats patients of all ages like ones of their own. From routine checkups to whitenings to crowns and more, they've got the tools and the gentle touch to keep your smile shining. Friendly staff, modern tech, and zero judgment, even if it's been a while since your last visit. So go ahead, show up those pearly whites. Scott Family Dental has your back and your teeth.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
he ended up getting hurt because he missed. Right now.
Yeah, I don't either. Trying to fix it, by the way, weird audio problems going on right now. We should be back on YouTube. Sorry for the YouTube people. Should be fixed now though. Okay, where was I? Yes, the news. Thank you to the people in the YouTube chat for letting me know, by the way. Okay, more NFL quarterback news. Lamar Jackson got injured at Ravens practice yesterday. Got his foot stepped on. A little bit of a scary sight there, but it sounds like he is going to be all good. Where does Lamar Jackson rank as far as if this QB goes down, this team's screwed? Where's he on that list? I mean, it's probably most teams anyways.
Third.
Who's first? I don't think it's Mahomes.
Allen.
Yeah, I think it's Allen.
And I think Mahomes is second.
I think them having Minshew and they just have such a good groundwork there in Kansas City, they would still be.
Minshew's there?
I think they'd still be a playoff team. Yeah, Minshew's the KC guy now.
I do not still think they would be a playoff team.
I think they could be. If he got injured halfway through the year.
What are you talking about, man?
I'm not saying all season long, but if Mahomes got injured halfway through the season and Minshew took over, I think they'd still make the playoffs.
Assuming they went 8-0 to start the season, maybe.
I just think Kansas City. It's not even a Minshew thing. It's more of just a Kansas City thing. They just don't lose, bro.
I'm very out on that. The reason they don't lose is because they have the best player in the league.
Oh,
Gardner Minshew having to throw the ball to Rashee Rice being the wide receiver one, which
is Rashee Rice even going to be there?
That doesn't sound very appealing to any Chiefs fan. I don't know if they win any games against good teams with Gardner Minshew's quarterback.
Yep.
I'm serious.
Okay. Jared Goff, Lions though, they're pretty high on that list, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know. Kyle Allen kind of seems like that guy.
A little bit of baseball news, and then we'll wrap things up here. Pirates call up their top pitching prospect, Bubba Chandler. He's a number 7 overall prospect in baseball, the number 1 pitching prospect. Obviously joining a nice pitching group there of Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, a couple of young guys. So it's a young trio going on over there in Pittsburgh. How long till he's not in a Pirates jersey? Good one, right?
Very quick.
Yeah, good one.
Well, Paul Skeens will get traded next year, so.
True. And then last night, Ohtani going up against the Rockies. We talked a lot about this on the show yesterday. He gives up 5 runs and takes a line drive off of his thigh. Man, it feels like Ohtani now. He's had 10 starts on the season. At least 3 of them, he has had some weird little injury scare happen. It seems like he's all good, though. The ball missed his knee. It missed his hip. It was just all thigh. So he should be good. Just a little bit of a stinger. He says, quote, it's not his quote because it's interpreter. I think we avoided the worst case scenario, so I'm going to focus on the treatment. I should be all good.
Cool.
That's
always good when Ohtani's doing both.
Yes, that's good to know. And
we'll
then
lock him up to win MVP.
Right. Had to give everyone an Alex Cobb update because why not? We all love him. I meant to do it earlier and I forgot to. Pitched for Toledo in his longest outing of the season with the Mud Hens, at least his third outing with Toledo, that is. Went 3 innings, gave up no hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and the word on the street is he looked a lot more comfortable and there was not a ton of pain on the mound for the old man Alex Cobb. So could he potentially join the unction that we got going on in Detroit at some point this season?
It's really just one other guy that's an unk, though, right? Charlie Morton,
Paul Sewald.
Who's also yet to make his debut. Whose spot is he going to take? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Hannafy?
Nah, you got to keep Hannafy.
Herder?
There's probably some other guys on the roster right now that you forget are on
Montero.
the roster.
Oh, it's Montero.
Yeah,
Although Montero hasn't been terrible.
Also,
but they really don't put him in high leverage situations unless they really have to.
Pretty smart idea to do that. Also, part of the unction is he is, Yeah, that's it.
All right. 989-837-6125, our 2 traditions to close out every show. When we come back, it's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's time to remember that.
You remember.
With Kyle Sandel.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland. Oh, the Tigers pull off the sweep yesterday. Man, how fun was that? You almost felt like it was a game that you were okay if the Tigers lose just because they pulled off the first 2 games against Houston without giving up a single run. You're going up a wild first inning it was. And another good inning. To this bullpen, man. The Tigers bullpen has not given up an earned run since August 12th. That's over a week ago. We know how good the combination of Vest and Finnegan has been. Troy Melton has been such a good middle guy ever since he's taken on that new role with Detroit. And it's starting to lean into the possibility that this is not the biggest weakness of this team. And when you're having a difficult time picking out the biggest weakness of a team, that's a major plus. There's nothing that sticks out right now with this current version of the Tigers in August that you're super worried about. Yeah, there's some things that you think they can touch up and fix, but right now, this Tigers team looks like a World Series team. You swept a first-place team in the Houston Astros of the AL West, and right now the Tigers look like the team to beat in the American League. Got to keep it rolling, though, throughout the rest of August before they face a couple playoff teams in September. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau agent, located downtown Midland.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Allie Huntoon, the director and founder of Allied HR Solutions and Allied Group Fitness.
Lean on people I trust to help me get through things too. If I know that I'm overwhelmed or I need support with something, I usually try to reach out. Sometimes I'm still trying to do things all myself, and that's a learning curve too. Delegation is your friend. I'm learning that.
Something I definitely do.
So I think it's leaning on your team. I think it's putting things into perspective. Even though HR is very important, and we have things all the time that come up with terminations or discrimination or harassment.
Listen to the full interview with Allie on YouTube on 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Since 2007, the Michigan Baseball Foundation has invested over $1.8 million into our communities, supporting over 350 projects across 14 Michigan counties. From restoring Alma Little League fields to creating nature-based classrooms at the Chippewa Nature Center and enhancing accessibility at the middle of the Mitt Miracle Field, MBF is making a real difference. Every ticket to a Great Lakes Loons game helps fund these initiatives. Join us in building a stronger, more vibrant community. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be worse this season, but still go 12-5 and win the NFC North. I think the Minnesota Vikings are the biggest threat to steal the NFC North from the Detroit Lions. I think we got to taper back our expectations for Bryce Underwood, with him being an 18-year-old freshman and all. I think the lack of aggression from Scott Harris at the MLB trade deadline is going to haunt the Tigers for years to come. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show weekdays from 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said.
From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt.
Let's pick out a good wine. Let's discover a new taste from a new place. Let's meet the people who handpick the grapes in places dedicated to the craft, in a land that only knows one way to grow things, rich and full. Welcome to Michigan, where the 4 seasons and 4 Great Lakes smile on the winemaker, where the quality of the wine is exceeded only by the warmth of the greeting waiting for us. And with more than 90 wineries, covering more than 13,000 acres, the harvest has never been better. So let's wander through lush vineyards, discover hidden treasures in vast cellars, and renew ourselves in comfortable tasting rooms. Let's all raise a glass. Let's gather our closest friends and become even closer. Because taking time to toast the beauty and bounty of life is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Michigan. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, 989-837-6125. We've got two traditions to close out every single show. The first of those being our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
I'm hot right now. Don't need to toot my own horn, but when you were as cold as I was in July and the beginning of August, I feel like I'm allowed to. What is my record so far this month?
Oh, wow.
What is my record this month?
Well, to be, the fact that you started off the month with 5 straight losses,
not
still
great.
not going to be great. I got to do some quick math here. 7 losses and 6 wins. So you're 6-7 this month. We should end the month now.
Let's end the show.
Yeah, that's not bad, though, at least for your all-time record being 18-35-1.
Yeah, but instead of the record for the month, what is the units up and down?
I don't keep track of that for the month till the end.
Oh.
I keep track of it by the week, so I guess I could do it in my head off of the weeks that I have so far. So far for the month, you're a little bit under, like just probably less than a unit under, even.
So we hit today, and all of a sudden,
could be huge. Could be really huge.
All right, yesterday we were flying close to the sun, and no runs were scored in that top of the first or bottom of the first. So the first inning out in Colorado, even though Shohei Ohtani hit a double to start out the game, got a little nervous there, but it was all okay. No runs were scored. Plus 140. It's about as good as it gets for a nerfie, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of those things that you asked me pre-show, like, is this dumb to bet on? And I was like, it kind of is, because why is it that plus of odds that you almost have to do it? And it worked out, which is awesome. So you're minus 14.74 units down all time, which, by the way, Ben, is the lowest you've been, or I guess that would be the highest you've been, since the end of July. So really starting to gain some momentum here. You're up a unit and a half on the week. And, like I said, 18-35-1 overall record. So you hit today, you clinch another week.
So let's do a 14-1 bet today then.
Right.
I'm just joking. All right. I'm gonna bet against Houston because, man, they look like an absolute mess right now. They looked hopeless. You should have heard their post game. I was listening to the Houston stream or watching the Houston stream, and they were just like in the gutters about their team, just talking about how miserable that series was. So let's stick with the Nerfies. Let's stick with the Houston team not being able to put up any runs or hits for that matter. I'm going with Houston, Orioles. Let's do another Nerfie, not as great odds, minus 113. I believe this game's at 4 o'clock. Taylor fade.
Back-to-back Nerfies. Sure, I'll fade. Sure, I'll tail. I faded yesterday when I almost was still rooting for it to hit, which felt wrong. So I feel like I owe you the fact to tail today.
Well, I texted you in all caps after I saw it hit. I just said, Nerfie. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't watching, so when you texted me, I was like, no way.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Nerve-wracking, though. Another nerve-wracking one today. So we'll keep our eyes on that. You got anything else to add? 2-1 this week, right? Looking to go 3-1 right now?
Yeah, you're looking to go 3-1. This would put you up on the week all time, which would be pretty big, or on the week for back-to-back weeks. This is going to be, if you can gain some momentum going into football season, like we've talked about, maybe even get close to 10 units down, there's a real chance that you could get something going by the end of 2025.
Oh, I plan on being over 500, or at least over unit-wise
Do you?
by the end of yeah.
We literally talked about this like 2 weeks ago, and you were like, I'll probably never get back above 500 ever.
Yeah, I don't know why I was talking like that. That's bad
Right.
self-belief. You got to have a little bit more self-confidence, you know? And now I'm walking around, I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself right now. It's just one day at a time. I've got the Nerfy hitting today in the Orioles and Houston game. That is my lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, other tradition, guessing Colin's open. Neither of us scored yesterday? I don't think either of us scored yesterday.
Neither of us scored yesterday. He did like an Eagles-Cowboys lead that like related to the Cowboys documentary, but it was like the Eagles' way of putting it. I don't know. It was kind of confusing. So, yeah, neither of us hit yesterday after we played the Caleb Williams play trying to get that.
Well, I think it'd be impossible for him to not talk about Caleb Williams 2 days in a row, right?
Ooh, didn't really consider that.
Whose turn is it to go first?
I'm double-checking. I'm pretty sure it's your turn to go first. Yes, it is your turn to go first today. Which is good because I have no idea what he's leading with today. No clue. Is he going to be on the show today? He's been on all 3 days this week so far. That seems like the max that we've gotten on a week-to-week basis in the summer for Colin. So maybe it won't even be him. But we'll see.
I feel like I just have to go with Caleb. Like, I don't want to.
It's just unreal.
I know it is, but I feel like it's more likely he opens with Caleb than literally anything else on any given day. And it's not like there was some breaking news that happened. Not any big news, at least. Could be a Vikings thing since they just made a move, just basically an excuse to talk about them, how they're looking for another receiver. You know what? Screw it. I'll go shot in the dark. Let's go J.J. McCarthy.
Okay.
I'll go J.J. McCarthy.
Okay. I don't mind that. I like you said, I really don't know what there is to lead with. I am going to go with a Chiefs lead today. I think he brings up this Andy Reid getting shot at thing, and it allows him to talk about the Chiefs for once because we're also getting these right, and we're also getting these regression things that we're talking about. The Chiefs are going to regress. I would think Colin probably has a different opinion than that or a differing opinion, so I think that allows me to do Chiefs today with that Andy Reid story.
I'm pretty sure Colin has the Broncos winning the division.
Really?
I could be wrong, but I thought I remember hearing him say that.
See, it's almost like people think they're getting out ahead of it to be like the smart guy, like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then everybody
but now
starts
it's just
doing
the trendy pick.
It is the trendy pick. I mean, Bill Simmons put Denver in his Super Bowl, and it's like,
God.
okay, like, what are we doing here, you know?
When did he do that?
Well, he said he's betting Eagles-Broncos Super Bowl as, like, the best value pick.
When did he say that?
Like, a couple weeks ago.
Oh. No, I don't like that.
Yeah, I also don't.
I would do Lions, Chiefs, same as I thought last year.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. There is one. You always
Lions,
have to do
Bills.
one, though. Hey, maybe this is a good time to bring up what you thought about talking about earlier.
What were we talking about earlier?
Well, we never got to it because we had that stuff that was going on, but the whole fantasy football, betting on football thing.
Oh, I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to ask people if you had to give up one thing, fantasy football or betting on football, what would it be? And I think I would just choose to like move to a different country, and I don't think I can live not doing those things.
I think there's the easiest answer ever. I mean,
fantasy
football for sure. I will not give up fantasy football.
Oh, I don't know if I can give up betting on football.
Oh, I would give up betting on football in a heartbeat if it meant I get to keep fantasy football. Fantasy football is like it's different, man. Because betting on football essentially is fantasy. Like you're already betting on football when you're doing fantasy.
Yeah, it's just a long-term bet. It's an investment.
It's a long-term bet, and it's things you can actually control better than just like placing a bet. I mean, not really. I guess
not at all. There's too many factors.
Trust me, I like betting on football is fun for sure. It's the best one to do it on, but fantasy is just I already have so much invested in that I'm fine with like some weeks on NFL I'm like really not even placing many bets because it's like I'm already so invested.
Get on my level then, man.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Just because like you can still bet on your fantasy leagues.
It's such an investment.
But I don't know, man. Just watching a whole college football Saturday without having a little bit of skin on it, that doesn't sound very fun.
We used to. I make, for my redraft league, I make spread picks every week, like based on the projection.
That's wild.
That ESPN gives you.
And do people actually bet on it?
No, but I was thinking, like, what if we actually did? Because you're already. I mean, that'd be the stupidest thing you could ever do. But I just basically will look at the spread, like, oh, this guy's favored by 11.7 points. All right, that's the spread. No way he wins by that much. You know, it's just like stuff like that. So. Yeah.
This seems too random. Like
Of course it's too random. That's why we're not actually putting money on it.
Yeah.
It's just funny to do it every week in the weekly projection or whatever.
Too many variables for that for me. I'm just like single player prop or like parlay a couple touchdown guys together. That's usually my go-to on a Sunday.
Yeah, football is like the one sport that you like. Parlays kind of are the move.
Oh, yeah.
Because most of the time parlays are just never the move ever. But like on football, man, the 3 touchdown score parlay,
so good.
It's different every Sunday.
I know.
And it usually goes either 1 for 3 or all 3 hit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I had a lot last year where it was
tough,
2 for 3, and it's like, why did we include a third person in this?
Yeah, that's
so
the most
aggressive.
frustrating thing. Especially when the third guy's like he had the longest odds to score 2, and you're like, why did I do this?
Yeah, I actually made a rule. It's not in my betting Bible, but there's a rule. It's like don't include a white guy in the 3-leg touchdown score. They just don't score enough. I don't know.
Right, yeah. Lad McConkey, never going to score this year.
Or maybe it was more than one white guy.
Ooh, that's good.
I think that's actually what the play was.
McCaffrey,
McConkey
parlays this
can't
year.
do that. You can't do that. All right. Appreciate everyone for tuning in today. We'll be back tomorrow for a fun Friday show. Today was a really fun show, too. You guys can listen back to it on YouTube. Just go to the YouTube, go to the live section. You guys can listen to the whole thing back there. Please like and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. It only takes 1 second. And if you guys hop on there, even if you're just a listener on 100.9 The Mitt FM, you hop on there and you subscribe to the YouTube page, give it a like. It helps this channel grow, and it helps our show grow to where we can start doing a lot more things. And it becomes, you guys control how far this thing goes just as much as we do. So we appreciate it if you can go hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube pages as well. That's obviously the spot where we are looking to grow the most right now. But you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well to stay updated on the latest news, opinions. You get it all with 100.9 The Mitt. A lot of disses being thrown at some of the other, networks across the state right now. Give this one a try if this is your first time listening. Appreciate everyone. We will be back tomorrow, like I said, at 9 o'clock. Ben Bosscher, Kyle Sandel behind the glass. As always,
The
talk to you
Ben
later.
Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building.